Stop.
All right. And with that, my dudes, we're going to go ahead and start tonight's session. Welcome to Storm King's Thunder, where me and a bunch of my nerdy-ass friends get together and we like to play Dungeons & Dragons.
Dungeons and Dragons!
Dungeons & Dragons! Where we last left off on session 24 of our adventure, the party had just arrived to Deadstone Cleft, the home of the Stone Giants and their Thane Kyolithica. Upon a reunion between Gulbrand and his long-separated wife, separated by distance, not by divorce, is able to catch up with Hydia Moonmusk, who is the chief of the Blue Bear tribe, and who told him, among many other things, that Kyolithica had sort of strong-armed a deal with him, using them to help her destroy the works of the surface dwellers, and in exchange providing them with shelter and protection. You guys made your way through the caves, knocking down a few giants along the way, as well as making your way successfully through all the tribes and encountering Lothar, Gulbrand's mentor, the previous Starkeeper, Kodiak, his rival, the First Claw of the tribe, as well as two elders, Chaska and Griselda, both of whom were well respected within the tribe. With Chaska, you also uncovered Lord Amorous, who had been captured, that you were aware of, and were able to liberate him, even though his legs were partially petrified. Along the way, you guys found a stone giant who was more hesitant to fight and made a deal with you, saying that if you were to leave with the rock and provide you with a clean exit, that you would make your way out and not mess with the rock's nest. You guys also found some carvings that detailed what he told you was the Steinfang, a massive stalactite that was carved with runes that Thane Kyolithica believes allows her to commune with Scoria Stonebones, their god. You guys made your way, you made a plan to ambush Kyolithica, and with Davos setting himself up as Lord Amorous, Kodiak, I love this from your notes, by the way, Devin, you put Kodiak and Gulbrand pretend to be tribe members, even though you are tribe members. But
Thought about that when I wrote it.
Bergen also, I think, threw on some clothes as a disguise, and Tally climbed up onto a spire. And when Kyolithica came in to get Lord Amorous, I forget which catchphrase we went with. Not "Here comes the dawn," but something like that. And pierced her through the hand with his rapier. And you guys got a solid turn, unloading some stuff on her before she was able to flee, capturing just Gulbrand in a stone cage before vanishing from sight, as you had seen one previous giant demonstrate the ability Time Stop. She retreated into her lair, where you followed her and found it to be a garden of statues, terrifying, unsettling. And among these statues, you knew that somewhere was Davos' father. As the fight began, Thane Kyolithica resurrected one of the long-dead stone things that was along the wall, and it waged battle, primarily with Tally, Kodiak, and Hydia, as the other three of you managed to batter her severely before, toward the end of the fight, recognizing Davos, she knew exactly why he was here, and using another statue at her side, destroyed his father's statue. After wrapping up the battle with her and slaying her heroically, Davos raced over to his father's statue, perhaps deflated, but was reminded of a ceremony he had done that was to amend a statue. It had unnaturally vivid memories of it and was able to reperform this. And just as the original ritual where your amulet had been restored, your father was not only restored to his statuous form, but returned to flesh and blood. We had a fond reunion between the two, and that is where we left off. Alright, my dudes. Anything I missed? Anything you want to add? Alright.
Nope.
Well, with that then, my dudes, we're going to get right down to business. Davos, you and your father are standing above the corpse of Kyolithica. Him in awe that you've managed to accomplish this, and that in awe of what you've become, not only a knight, but a lord, a hero, a dragon slayer, the Dawnbringer, a general badass. Is very, very proud of you. And it's about this time that you notice you feel a little lighter. And you can't quite place why, but as you take a second to assess yourself, all of you hear the familiar muffled calls of someone trying to contact you on the mirror. Tally pulls it out, and you see Daphne and Haral, who eagerly tell you that just a few moments ago, the church erupted in a radiant light, which everyone initially believed to be a fire upon the roof. But as the light faded away, they discovered a large symbol of Lathandar had somehow formed on the sturdy beams of the old church, and that this must surely be some divine sign of approval from the Morning Lord. And Davos, you notice that light feeling. The symbol that you took from the Church of Orlbar, then destroyed, is missing. And if you share this, your father sees this as very clear. This is a symbol. This is a sign. This is divine proof that the people of Orlbar, their home is in Nightstone, with you and the protectors of the realm. And he smiles a bit, and you have truly following Lathandar's will.
Like, I'm still just speechless. Like, you know, I'm just a humble bard.
Not humble most of the time, but pretty humble now. You guys also, now that the heat of battle has subsided, you assess the room, and the predominant feature is still the Steinfang. Thick, runic script cut into the sides of the stalactite, and several questions and answers in giant. Would you like to assess the Steinfang and what it holds?
Hell yeah.
Fucks yes.
So I'm going to tell you all this, but I'm also going to paste it in chat because it's a good bit. Thane Kyolithica had asked it several questions, and you notice that on one side, the question is carved, and on the other side are the answers, the script seemingly slightly different. The question, what must I do to please you, noble father? The answer, to destroy the works of the surface dwellers. The second question, can the Uthgardt be trusted? No, they cannot, is the answer. Are there any traitors in my clan? You have exiled the first traitor, but there are others. Uncover them. Will I break this night to reveal the defenses of the small folk cities, which you know to be referring to Lord Amaris? Yes. Draw his knowledge out with his blood. And the next three questions catch your eye as particularly important. Is Jarl Storvald close to finding the Ring of Winter? The answer. He convened with the Oracle at the Eye of the Allfather. He knows that Kimber lies in Elsyr, and Storvald knows how to get there. The next. Is Duke Zolto close to completing the Vanindod? The answer. Yes. The Vanindod will walk before the planet completes its orbit, and the Drow have promised him an elemental to power it. The next. Has Countess Sansuri unraveled the Noctadstein, which you translate to the Night Deathstone? The Shadow of Deathstone? It's a little unclear. It's a name you've not seen before. But the answer? No. The Dodkong Stone remains cryptic, though there is another who has begun to decipher its secrets. Its origins are at risk of being uncovered. And the final question. What is the greatest threat to my rule? The answer. The small folk that you have scorned in the past will be your downfall. And they are near. You must eliminate them swiftly. But of course...
Failed.
Yeah, you guys turned around pretty quick on that.
Literally walked in and was like, oh shit, this is what it was talking about, and then got ganked.
Basically, yeah. That's why that fear rose up in her. Like, she thought she had more time to prepare for this, but nope. All right. I'm going to drop that in the game notes tab just so you guys can see that.
That was a lot of juicy shit.
Right? No, yeah, I thought this was a good good little lore drop.
Is the Donkey Kong stone the Nightstone?
The Nokdodstein. Which, I guess if you're... She did say Dodd Kong, which you can translate to Death King. But you don't know who that is. Devin, you're on mute.
I'm sorry, I'm talking to my wife. Just go.
Oh, gotcha. Which you can translate to Death King. And you gather that it's a stone giant, but you don't know anything else of that figure. Actually, anyone who wants to can make a history check. And we'll see if anything can be uncovered about that.
Anyone who wants to. Gulbrand's is not great. Tally's is not great.
I got a +1
I would say...
to history. Claire?
Go ahead and roll, and we'll say Gulbrand will give you advantage. By repeating it over and over, I guess. Not great.
I never heard of that thing in my life.
Yeah.
Neither one.
And yeah, and this is the Nokdodstein and the Dodd Kong are both very specific. Giant history predates humans by millennia, so there's a lot of history that is just not simply recorded in a written fashion that you guys may not know about, but you gather somebody might know it. Erembor is standing off to the side, and he's staring at Kyolithica and her great club. And she tells you, I'll give him just a minute.
No,
She tells him that, says, "Wow, Davos, you're a real chump. Man, you're short. You got some acne boiling through. Little stinky armpits. I mean, dude, you reek."
boots.
I hope he hears all this. Trying to parent with me heckling him in the ear.
Sorry about that.
No, you're fine. Erembor stands off to the side looking at Kyolithica's corpse. And he says that her great club.
Good night.
Oh, so sweet. Her great club. I know it to be passed down from Thane to Thane. It's a precious artifact and goes back countless generations. And he points the entire diameter of it. You just see rune after rune after rune after rune after rune. And you gather that they're names. Countless names. And it definitely seems like it's been around for quite some time. Do any of you seek to take the...
How big is it? Can any of us wield it?
It's pretty big. It's about 7 feet.
God.
Weighs a couple 100 pounds. You can carry it, but you're going to be sort of encumbered.
Does anybody else notice that's Enter Sandman playing on Fred Boat?
Yeah, I'm glad you noticed that. A lot of these are songs you might pick up on, but they're tavern covers. Bardcore.
Anyway, I don't know. Gulbrand doesn't think it's worth it if they can't just carry it with them. If we can minimize it, but I can't do that.
Can we throw it in the bag of
I
holding?
was about to say the bag of holding.
Won't fit in the bag per se. It is a club, and at the top, a club made for a giant. It's a couple of feet in diameter. Roll a history check. We'll say specifically Gulbrand and Talaband, who is not here.
Goal rolled a 3.
Oh, God, Gull, not your strong suit. 17. Tally would think, if this has been around for some time, perhaps it could be used to seal some of the, or restore some of the mounds that have been disrupted. If this is truly from so long ago, perhaps Astoria, it might prove useful.
But how the fuck's the way it gets its out of here?
Well, don't look at me, Muscle.
I mean, Gulbrand will try to pick it up and carry it. That's what he has to do. He couldn't fight,
Yeah.
more or less.
Kodiak will not make a move to help you, but Hydia would probably assist you. You couldn't fight with it. You couldn't use it effectively, but the two of you can effectively carry it out.
Alright, might as well.
Erembor looks at the corpse once more. What should we do with her?
Push her in the
You-
fucking mud.
He smiles. I was thinking something along the lines myself. Seems only fitting. She submerged countless individuals into this, and for her to make her final exit out of it, it just seems right.
Agreed.
All of you assist. It takes a few hearty shoves, as she is several hundred pounds, probably a few thousand pounds, but you guys eventually get an arm over and a head, and as the torso begins to move over, she slowly slides off and into the mud and sinks beneath it. Meanwhile,
I spit.
Alistair, the cheery gnome that you guys just rescued, well, I guess that, from what I hear, you guys are pretty important. Y'all, I see them fancy rings there. You Know-Bility?
We don't just know-bility, we are ability.
Take inspiration for that. That's actually really fucking good.
Very bardic.
He goes, well, if you, no offense, but you guys kind of look like shit. I mean, you're wearing that bear skin isn't even properly cured. I mean, this guy over here is dressed in fucking tree bark and shit. Y'all could use a little, if y'all are gonna go, I don't know, making a name for yourselves around these parts, you might, want to look a little more presentable. Be happy to, tag along.
I don't think you have to make excuses to come back to Nightstones. Everyone ends up their Zinzi ways.
I think
We'd
what he's
use a
trying to say is
tailor
we
shirt.
would love to have you in Nightstone.
I'm getting some mixed signals in the room, but I'll take that as a yes. He seems ready to go. He grabs the last few things, sort of scattered about. There are a couple of loose ends in the temple.
Yeah, there's 3 things we might want to do.
What are they? You could share them with the group.
Oh, yeah, so before we leave, well, we've already marked one thing off the list. Tally and Gulbrand were going to look for artifacts, but we found one. The other 2 things was check the rocks nest, and the last thing. No, what was the last thing? One is check. The Steinfang. We've already done that too, so I guess it's just the rocks.
No, there was one more. You're right. The Steinfang, the rock. Well, Davos also. You remember seeing a glint in the eye of the. You remember seeing a glint in the eye of the statue of Scorious Stonebones out in the canyon.
120 foot.
It's high up there. But
I don't know how we're
You
going to
boys-
get up there. Well, let's go take a look.
you guys make your way out. You're already 60 feet up. The statue itself is 150 feet tall. You choose to go down into the canyon, you're starting from from the bottom. How do you guys want to go about this? Anybody have any tricks up their sleeve that might help them out?
And I was thinking Featherfall. Actually, that wouldn't work. But
In reverse.
Well, someone could climb, and you could catch them.
oh, okay.
But I don't know. With the climbing rope, I guess you could use it to climb a certain amount, anchor yourself off, and then climb again. I don't know how Joey would rule that. What kind of check
would
you
say
would
that
have to,
could work.
would have to make, to scale it.
Mm.
It doesn't even have to be you. It could be Tally or Gulbrand who have higher physical stats.
Me and Tally both have +4 to acrobatics.
Okay.
If it's athletics, I got 2. Tally has 3. And I also have a channel divinity, I believe, that could be applicable. Peerless athlete. For 10 minutes, I have advantage on athletics and acrobatics checks. I can carry, push, drag, lift, double, and the distance of my long and high jumps increases by 10 foot.
No, that would help out tremendously, actually.
That's pretty neat.
What is well, let me think for just a second. The rope, you have Featherfall, you have the Peerless Athlete. Do you have a use of channeled divinity left?
Let me double check. I don't think I used it. Yeah, because I didn't use it. So I should have it, yeah.
Cool. All right. Okay. You approach the base of the statue, flick the rope, and it extends 60 feet up. You climb up, and you are about the hip. There's a couple of outcroppings and things that you look like you can try to grab onto, but they're all slick with water. There is the river Delembir does originate from this point, from above the statue, and sort of pour down at all sides. Because you have the Peerless Athlete, you said that gives you advantage?
Yep.
I was going to give you disadvantage for slick rocks, so just make one normal athletics check.
You bastard.
It's not, since you're not climbing and you took out the hard part, the check was only a 10, so you're good there.
Oh, yeah.
You kind of takes you a second to feel comfortable, but once you do, you reach out, use the command word on the rope, and it's funny, it actually like coils up into a bundle. It like starts at the bottom and just rolls all the way up to your hand, and then you flick it up again and proceed another 60 feet up to 120 feet. Do me a favor and make another check for me.
Athletics?
Yes, sir.
And that was with advantage, though, right? Wait, I got inspiration. I'm gonna use it.
Yeah. There we go. I was about to say, anything below anything below the 10, you might take some damage, but you weren't gonna go the whole distance. But a 1,
Like cake going the distance.
yeah, he's going the distance.
Speed.
All right. You use the rope one final time. Almost slip down and fall the 120 feet, which would have been likely a fatal fall. But you managed to catch yourself and bring up the rope one more time, ascend it 30 feet, and embedded into the left eye of the statue, you see a glowing brown orb. Very faintly glowing, not luminous, for example, but it does have a sheen to it that marks it as unnatural. It seems to be embedded into the rock.
Do I try to pull it out? Can I try to pull it out?
If you try with your hands, you can't quite get a good grip on it. It seems like you need to pop it loose first.
Can I look around to see if there's like a latch somewhere to let it loose?
No, it seems like it was sealed with the statue when it was made, however long ago. It doesn't seem like it could have been naturally put in there. But you also know that giants can make things pass through stone, and perhaps it was done some way such as that. Got anything on you can use as a pry?
I got alchemist supplies. Let me see a dagger.
A dagger might work. Do me a favor, roll a sleight of hand check.
Hells yeah.
Solid. All right. It takes you a second to but you go pretty much where the tear duct would be, and just like force it in just a bit, and then it pops out. Not quite a foot across, maybe 8 inches in diameter.
Jeez.
And now that you have it loose and you're looking at it, it looks just like a perpetual sandstorm. Just constant movement, constant motion. You don't know what it is. Doesn't look like the crystal ball you have. But it definitely has an arcane element to it. You gather you'll have to study it a little closer if you want to figure out what it does. But you managed to successfully remove the stone and descend back down. What is the next stop?
I mean, do we want to go to the Rock's Nest? We kind of told that dude we weren't going to mess with it.
I didn't say shit.
That is true.
Such a shitty thing.
So I don't know how
surprised.
y'all are
A look-
feeling
look wouldn't hurt?
health-wise. I mean, I don't know how y'all are feeling health-wise. There could be things in the nest that might hurt us. But
I would feel better with a long rest, that's for sure.
I don't want to wait that long. You might come back. I mean,
You could assess it.
I mean,
Like, you
yeah,
could-
go look.
Yeah.
Okay. Somebody give me a perception check. I'll say 2 somebody's.
Tally and Bergen.
17. Not as great as I was thinking he was gonna get. Okay. So, As you approach the rock's nest, you recall that this beast is called Jotunglang, the giant above. And it has built a nest here on this high hill, mostly using tree trunks and shattered bits of wagon. Devin, you're echoing and it's annoying as balls. Thank you. Not you echoing, like I could hear myself. You gather that the rock used mostly tree trunks, but there's also shattered bits of wagon, fragments of thatched roofs, and you also see the hull of a large ship, still intact as if it had been snatched off of the River Dellenbeer. But by far, the most interesting thing that you see in the rock's nest, thinly veiled in straw, is an enormous egg, some 3 feet in diameter and nearly 6 feet tall.
We would need the airships to move this out of here.
Are we gonna raise a rock now too?
Name him Dwayne, that's my only request. Dwayne the Rock. You could call the airship. You have the sending stone to do so if you need to. It does seem... It would take several of you to get it out, and you're going over difficult terrain. It would be precarious, to say the least.
I have the plans, but it requires patience. We'll come back for it later with more resources.
Okay.
I say we let the giant have his rock chick.
That's probably the best ideas.
Alright. Anything else in the nest before you go?
No shinies?
I mean, you can make a perception check.
Alright, Gulbrand isn't awful. Oh.
25. Wow. Okay, that's a lot better than I thought it was going to be. So, you notice two things. The first, that the whole thing seems a little unstable. But you see an odd, sturdy iron rod is wedged perfectly somehow between two massive tree trunks that seem to pinch it into place. And with that perception score, you see that it has a button on the end of it.
Gulbrand will point it out, but... A button?
A button, yeah.
Oh, you're muted, Brandon.
Oh, sorry.
I was asking if this was an immovable rod, and then if we moved it, the whole nest would collapse.
You can roll an Arcana check to see if Davos would know, A, what an immovable rod is.
Could Tally roll?
Does it? It is.
I will let you both roll. Not one with advantage, but both. What was it, Devin?
So I see what you're saying. I think I said.
It doesn't look like anything you know about.
It's just a
stick,
rod. It's just a rod of stick sticking out of these two tree trunks is holding in place.
Not sticking out of. The tree trunks are like in an X.
Yeah.
And the rod is beneath them.
Oh.
Can we would I be able to tell if we moved it, the whole nest would collapse?
Yeah. Does it look like
It does
it's
seem
very
kind of precarious. Maybe not the whole nest, but at least part of it is going down the hillside and into the river.
I'm not about it. I'm not touching the fucking sticks.
This is my ultimate, how much do you want? Rock egg? Removable rod? Gulbrand, the other thing you notice is that the ship seems still well intact. And you haven't been on a lot of ships. You know there's usually stuff on them.
Gore will point out ships. There still might be. I've been told there are shinies in those. Is it far away from where we are? Is it hard to? Is it?
No, it's part of the nest. I would say it's some 10-15 feet. Up a little bit. You would have to climb through one of the portholes, which is about 2 feet in diameter. A little bit bigger than that. So not, small, but it would be a squeeze for somebody like Gulbrand.
Is it worth? I just want to get the fuck out of here. I'm spooked.
Go pick up that rod. Kidding.
Grabs it.
Tally will say, I mean, there's something in it worthwhile. And we'll have him roll a dex check for Tally. Or excuse me, not a dex, an acrobatics.
Oh.
Boop, solid.
20.
Yeah. Tally leaps up there very swiftly, takes out his actual real dagger and uses it to sort of pull himself up as he scales the wall, pops into the hole. Few seconds go by. 30 seconds. And about the minute mark, you see a chest pop up in the window, and you hear him kind of struggling with it as he shoves it forward. And the chest falls out and smashes open, and 2,000 gold pieces go scattering about. Now, you can spend some time to get all 2,000, or you can take the bulk of it and run.
Bulk and run.
Yeah, we'll just use the bag
You'll
like a
get
vacuum
1,000
cleaner.
of those gold. Yeah.
We're not.
Get a few sticks in there and stuff, but some straw. But you guys managed to get 1,000 of those gold pieces. Devin, if you'll pop that in the bag for me. All right. I think that wraps up the loose ends.
As you guys
that I
leave,
was...
you see a giant shadow the size of the
Oh,
Millennium
I was
Falcon.
tempted. I was tempted. I was actually gonna roll a die when you got to the egg. If you tried to take it, and it was gonna be a 50-50 shot if it popped up while you guys are doing it.
God, we would have got destroyed.
Got.
Yeah.
All right. Where do you guys head from here? Also, did anybody notice that last track?
I did. I was waiting to be like, oh, we pulled the rod and now we're Fallout Boy.
I love it. All right, my dudes. Where
To
you head?
home? To Nightstone?
Yeah, is it time to get the fuck out of here? Can we get everybody out? I guess not. I guess the tribe's gonna have to travel on its own to get to Nightstone.
Yeah, you know that you couldn't carry quite that many people.
Yeah.
But that you can, if you wanted to, you could bring select NPCs along with you. But you couldn't take the whole tribe.
I feel like an immigrant.
Shut the fuck up. If you guys do visit the tribe, as soon as Erembor walks through the entryway, Amorous is elated, and even with his stone petrified legs, he sort of hobbles up and sort of throws an arm around him and immediately revitalized in a way that you didn't expect. And immediately begins bragging everything that's happened since Erembor was captured. Like, oh, we heard he slayed a dragon. We heard he saved Golden Fields from an attack. He's called the Dawnbringer now, and just starts regaling him with all the tales of your exploits. The tribe itself seems to be in general agreement. Hydia seems reassured in her leadership. Lothar, Chaska, Griselda are all standing behind her firmly. And you gather that the tribe will follow you to your tribe, as they call it.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Totally did all those things.
Yeah. Griselda is a little disappointed. She's like, wanted to see the damn rocks again. Sort of grumbles, but...
Well, we might comes back and steals one. Its eggs, but let's Lathers.
Do you knows how many omelets we can make with that thing? Chaska, who is the one that recognized you as Erenbor's son, Davos, she tells you, from the moments I saw you, I knew your lineage it is my gift and my role within the tribe. It is my job to discover who these children's fathers are. As often, you're not monogamous, and even more than that, many children are brought to us after war times and raids. Kodiak is still... what's the word I want to use?
I was pouting.
Reclusive. Yeah, a bit. He says he will follow you. But he has a renewed respect for Hydia, you gather, but he tells you, Gulbrand, I am still no ally of yours. And when we return to your peoples, they expect our blood testings. He starts to walk away, but before he does, he turns to you, Bergen. You saved my lives, holy mans. Something I had not thought you willing to do. I appreciate that.
It's about all I do, guy.
Goes, nonetheless, you have my respect, and he holds out an arm to you.
Oh, I take it and reciprocate.
He tells you, we are now battle bonded. Me, nor none of my line will ever bring harm to you or your family.
Oh, word.
You're not battle bonded with Gulbrand?
What?
He's not battle
You
bonded.
said that to Kodiak?
Yeah.
He fought something else. I was fighting this thing over here. The holy man's helped me. Gulbrand went and fucked off. I didn't see him rushing back to help when I got knocked out.
I mean,
Nor
can you
you.
blame him? You've been
Well.
kind of a dick.
Wow.
Or whatever.
Imagine the chief of your tribe were to leave for several moons, leave you high and dry, helpless in the way.
I was not the chiefs. Do not
Yes, but
mislead.
they have no star keepers. I have no way of. Imagine a prophet had left you without your guidances. Life would be more difficult than it had been.
I do admit having Gulbrand on our side is a huge advantage.
Oh, yeah.
He sort of sulks a little bit and grumbles, but seems to make his way off.
Wow, I didn't even have to bully him. Last fall I did it for him. Roman's over here like, okay, I'm beginning to see now.
That's my boys.
Yeah.
I imagine that at some point you
what
guys
lords
follow the
do.
airship. Unless you do want to try to get in a long rest here at the Deadstone Cleft.
I mean, we can rest
think-
on the ship.
Yeah, I think we should leave Hydia and Kodiak with the tribe. Yeah, I don't,
Cool.
especially since if there's not a lot of them, like I don't want to take any leaders away.
Yeah.
Gulbrand will just
There's-
promise to meet them
It's
in
it's about 30 altogether
30.
with the elders and everyone. And they you give them passable directions to follow the River Delambir until they come nearly to the sea. When they smell salt in the air, to drift to the forest to the right, and you will find our encampment. You guys begin to board the airship with Erembor, Amoris, and Elister. And Erembor tells you, I am elated to be heading back to my family and our people, but I must see Orlbar before we go. Can we make a stop along the way?
I'm not sure if you want to do that. It's all in ruins.
He sort of dips his head. I know I will not like what I see, but I cannot be caught unaware of what fate has befallen it. It's an important lesson for me. If time is of the essence, then we may pass it by, but I would like to see it again.
I mean, who am I to tell my dad no?
The owner of this airship, more or less. Okay.
If you
You
insist.
guys... Sorry, go ahead.
That was it. If you insist.
You guys make your way onto the airship, and it departs. And Tajin tells you that they had fled for miles and miles and miles under the pursuit of that rock, trying to fire off cannons to keep it at bay, swerving out of the way when it would get too close, drifting into the tree line and weaving through the forest to try to get out of its reach, until they traveled far enough to where it lost interest and began to drift back. Takes you 2 days to get to Orlbar. If anyone would like to do anything in that 2 days' time, you're welcome to say it.
I'm going to attune to that shield before I forget.
Yeah, get it, dude. So that gives you, it doesn't increase your AC by default. Like, your AC is still normal because you're taking off a shield and putting on this one.
Right.
But when you're the target of a ranged attack, you get that +1, and you can also catch it for somebody else. Ranged spells, rocks, knives, blah blah blah, whatever.
Hells yeah.
Bergen's like, Helm says no.
Helm says, yeah, fuck you.
This gem with the swirling sandstorm, I don't want to
Yes.
necessarily attune to it unless I have to, but then I'd probably give it to Tally. maybe?
Attunement would let them discover what it does. I don't know if Tally has 3 things that he's attuned to right now or not.
Let's see.
So
That'd be an inventory.
Icons gives this ups. Gulbrand points to the trinket on his arm, the band on his arm, because I lights up anyways to make slides. Bergens,
Man,
can
I
you
have
use it in the
room.
darks?
I don't think
Don't
so.
think so. You also have room,
Human, you
Davos?
shouldn't be able to, yeah. Davos does, because he's half-elf. Or whole-elf.
Half.
Half, okay. Yeah, Dad's the human, Mom's the elf.
So you have double.
Dad's a muggle, Mom's a witch.
You still have dark vision though.
Yeah,
I don't know if Tally does or not, but
he's
He does, he's an
full
elf.
elf, I think. Or-
yeah, Bergen, if you have the space and want the dark vision, circle it. You can have it, but you could also take the spear, I guess, if you have the room. The
Do
spear,
either-
the sandstorm spear.
Oh, do they require attunement? Yes.
The stone does, yeah. As does the armband.
Yeah. I'm all full up.
You don't necessarily have to attune to it to learn what it does. That is the most direct route, but you could have somebody identify it for you. But you would need someone with proficient magical ability to do so.
The pink swans mice can do that.
Perhaps.
I mean, I'll attune to it, and if I don't like it, I can unattune, right? Give it
Cursed. Okay, got it.
Oh!
No, yeah, you can
Yeah.
do that. Gulbrand has something else he wants to attune to.
Yeah,
I was letting
no.
you forgot.
Yeah, sure.
But
I'll see what that does over a couple days.
do me a favor. Go to your inventory
Mhm.
and hit the add button.
Mm,
All right.
And type in orb, O-R-B, of the Stein rune. And if you type orb of the, it should pop up as one of your results. This is an ancient giant artifact, not unlike a very similar thing you have, the Shard of the Ice rune. What they do is they can be items in of themselves, or they can pass on their rune to another item. But I'll let you look at that for a second.
Alright.
Excuse me.
So
As you get,
I'm sorry. I need to clarify between can Gulbrand spend time with an item to learn what it does without attuning to it?
I don't think so, my dude.
Okay.
Because most magic items, you have to be attuned to them to use their abilities, so they wouldn't. Without attuning to it, you wouldn't glean anything from
But
it.
he could wait and let Daphne identify it.
You think you don't know if necessarily if she can cast identify, but perhaps.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna do it.
Doesn't think. Okay.
No, I'm not gonna do it.
So you guys make your way to Orlbar, and as the airship descends, you see once again the ruined rubble that was once Eремbor's town, was once Davos's town, was once Lord Amorous' town. And while Amorous was here during the battle, he did not see the full ruin that was to come. All 3 of our holy knights of the Order of the Aster seem rather forlorn. But Tally turns his head really quick, very sharply, suddenly. And he points. And from the corner of your eye, you spot a shift in the stone along the hillside. It almost seems like a rock slide for just a second, before your eyes adjust to the camouflage and see the figure of a tall humanoid with skin like granite. As it rises to its feet, you realize it's a stone giant. Doesn't seem aggressive, but stern. A heavy brow that mark a pensive face, which calmly stares down to you in a quizzical manner.
It's not the one that.
The
went
Rock
off,
Keeper.
huh? Yeah.
You'd gather. You know, he was stacking the stones, and here you are, where all the stones are stacked.
So it is him.
I'm not gonna tell you. You gotta find out. He doesn't have a name tag on.
Okay.
Is he standing in our way?
No, he's standing off to the side of the town, where the town sort of meets the hillside that it was built up against. Not making a move, but he's watching carefully. And he didn't stand until Tally turned and pointed him out.
So I go to get a closer look.
I'll back you up.
if you move toward him, there's a stack of stones next to him. Broad, flat, round stones, several feet across. And you see him pick a couple of them up, unsure of how this is going to go.
Whoa,
I
whoa,
can-
whoa, we
Yeah,
come deep.
I can throw rocks too, but not rocks like stats.
Imagine enchanting those stones. Um, he makes no move. He makes no sound.
He was called the Silence Ones. Do you think he can speak? Gulbrand will ask him
You
his
say-
name in Giant. He'll, from a distance, I guess he'd be hollering at him. He doesn't want to get close. You get the idea.
He looks at you, and he grabs a staff that you didn't notice was there, a very long, looked like a felled tree. He carves out into the dirt before you. Zork. In the giant script, of course.
I legit can't remember if that was the dude's name or not.
Almost positive it was, yeah.
Yeah.
This is an Orlbar. He's outside of Orlbar?
He's within the city limits, so to speak, but like on the edges of it.
I see.
Tally will go, well, he can't speak, but can he think? And he begins to stare at this giant who jumps slightly, startled, and looks about until meeting eyes with Tally. And about 2 minutes go by. Neither one making a move, and Tally turns to you. He says that he was left here as an exile. Caelithica sought nothing but destruction, and he saw the works of our people, the small folk, as something to too be proud of. As a builder himself, he admired our creations, and tried to intervene when she sought to destroy the church. But she beat him within an inch of his life and left him for dead.
Did you tell him that we killed hers?
I thought that prudent not to mention, but I can if you'd like. He doesn't seem to be thrilled by her, so I think that's a safe bet.
It's up to
He
y'all.
relays it, and the giant again turns, eyebrows raised, and he places a hand across his chest and bows to you, and thanks to Tally again. And Tally says, "It seems like he appreciates us getting rid of her, but exile is permanent within their tribe. Even if he were to return, no matter how cruel a leader she was, he would not be welcomed back."
Gulbrand says in common to the group, as we're going to do the things.
I think that we should do that. I mean, we
Yeah.
already recruited a couple, and they stayed
Yeah,
Right.
where would he live? Just outside the city? Like we've already
Yeah.
the caves. We've already
well,
like rented out. I don't.
Rent it out. Are you landlords now?
He could,
The landlords of Nightstone. I love it. All right, new name.
he could
Um,
give us advantage on building Nightstone even greater.
Yeah, we might need his help.
Well, you would know when you walked to the Dripping Caves that first time, weeks, months ago, that there were several caves, several cave mouths, but the Dripping Caves is a particular sect of interconnected caverns. So you know there's probably some place he could stay out there. And he is a stone giant. He can manipulate himself a home if he need.
Yeah, man. Send him an
Meditate.
Eva.
Sally looks once more to him. About a minute goes by, and the giant nods his head, begins heading westward. And Tally will turn and say, "He seems amicable to the idea. I told him that we're doing our best to restore the ordning. He thought that if the ordning were restored, that the Storm Giant King would be able to keep the crazier ones like Caelithica under wraps. Should be there in a few days."
Dopes. We're going to have a cities.
Good job.
With that, you guys can head back to Nightstone, which takes 3 more days. If there's anyone would like to do in those 3 days, speak now or forever hold your peace.
So, can Gulbrand do Prescience?
You can if you'd like to.
Alright.
You've got 3 days, so you can do it 3 times if you'd like.
Leave it up to
I
the
should,
attic.
I do want to make something clear because you haven't done it in a while. when you were told you could seek things out with your prescience, it's things that pertain to the path. So you can see if doing something will have an effect on the path, if it'll violate it or if it'll amend it, or if something is irrelevant to the path, if it doesn't matter what happens to this individual or this item or etc. But if it doesn't pertain heavily to the path, it may not have a lot of information to give you.
Well, he doesn't really want to look for anything. I think he just wants to take roll advantage +2. Insight, right?
Yes, sir. How many hits you taken?
3. So I'll have -2 perception for 24 hours and -2 initiative for 24 hours.
Okay. So, with a 22, you see quite a few things. You see a frozen swamp, hardy, wooded trees, covered in ice. Thick ice beneath your feet that seems to have dark, murky water beneath it. You flash to another one, where you see many Uthgar, not just blue bears, gathered at a Sluethe fire. One of them, a few of them, you recognize. Some are blue bears. You also see Riker. You see Myra, the elk. You see the raven barbarian. Tyree. Excuse me, the ghost tree. Tyree. You see several other faces, unfamiliar. And with a 22, we'll give you one more. You see snow, and realize that you're on the deck of the airship. Far to the north, you would imagine, or far in the future. The snow is coming down, ice clings to the edges, and in the distance, you make out a massive iceberg. And that is all you gather from that round of Prescience, my dude.
Well, worth. He only wanted to do it once the first night, so he's going to recuperate the next 2 days.
Cool.
I got
with
a
that-
thing.
Oh, no, go ahead, my dude.
I can't remember if when Daphne called that we mentioned how we saved my dad. Just a heads up, like, hey mom, not scrying stone.
If you start to do that, Erembor will place a hand on your shoulder and say, well, no, never mind. I was going to say he would like to surprise them. But
Okay.
I imagine
Sure. But I have another thing.
Oh, go ahead.
Reading
I
this
love things.
orb of the Stein rune, apparently I
Yeah.
can transfer the rune to an item,
you can.
one of those is
Booster shield. Yes,
which
sir.
would be resistance to all ranged weapon attacks, so that's what I'm going to do.
All right. So
Okay.
the orb itself is destroyed.
Right.
It takes a whole day to do this.
Right.
Basically, you take your shield and you place it along, we'll say, the railing of the deck. And you sit there, cross-legged, holding the orb in your hands. And as you begin to transfer it, you place it to make contact. And when you pull it away, a thin stream of sand is connecting them. And you watch as the orb slowly empties over hours and hours and hours, and slowly forms a glyph onto the shield. And with the final moments, when the sand is drawn out, the glass itself reverts back to sand and is pulled through, sealing the ritual. The shield gives a gleam, as it too is now enchanted, and takes the place of that slot. I will make a note, and I will make you a custom shield for that.
I bet you really has to peas.
Yeah, 8 hours of...
It says... where does it say it? You can transfer the orb's magic. Does that mean I would still have the stone soul, can't be petrified?
No, if you transfer it to the... well, let me look at it just to be sure, but I'm pretty sure if you transfer it to the shield, that it only retains the one ability.
Okay, and that's fine. If it does, I would still transfer it.
You son of a bitch, open that closed tab. I was just looking at this before the session. Here we go. Orb of the Stein rune. You You can transfer the orb's magic to a non-magical item, shield or a pair of boots.
So for those that don't know, this is a Foo Fighters song.
Hmm.
It's called the
Yeah,
Pretender.
there's a couple on here actually. You mean Fae Fighters song? Let's be real, we're in canon.
Yeah, yeah.
You hear your own song in the tab, and you're like, "Fuck yeah, I wrote that." So at the end, the orb is destroyed, and a rune appears on the chosen item, which gains a benefit based on its form.
Okay.
I think it's just the one, but I'll do some research, and we'll see if we can't. If you
It
don't
makes
take
sense
those 3.
that I would not be able to do the other things as well.
I'll
Be kind of OP, but
yeah, I'll look at it nonetheless. But
okay.
all right, you guys make your way to Nightstone, which you can see is heavily under construction. Back out a bit so I can see this whole big beauty. Approaching via the airship, you see intense renovations have been made. The palisade has been replaced with a thick, sturdy stone rampart that is lined with impressive towers and raised parapets along its entire perimeter. In place of the simple drawbridge is a thick, dark wood drawbridge lined with iron and backed by a sturdy portcullis. While the structures are not fully complete, the progress is impressive, not only to yourself, but to the crew of the West Wind Wyvern and your passengers. As you guys land and make your way, and you see familiar faces of Daphne and 285. And you see Anessa and Malenia, who have come out to greet their son and brother. And you watch as Malenia sees him first and stops. And Anessa sees him and just breaks out into a sprint. And it's a very touching reunion. There's tears. Malenia is covering him in kisses, and Anessa is sobbing like a child. And Anessa sort of pulls you into a group hug, and your family is whole for the first time in nearly a year now, and it's a very warm feeling.
Yeah, I was about to say you were giving him all the love, and here I am standing on the side.
We saw you like a week ago. This is different.
About a week ago.
The Knights of the Order of the Aster are also there, and are very pleased with not only your father's return, but also Lord Amorous. Lucius, in particular, the older gentleman, seems very happy to see them, and you gather from him and Amorous's talk that they were aware of each other, perhaps not close compatriots, but both involved in the Order and had known each other through the years. Lucius will tell them, "Look like shit, but I'll help spurn you back into shape." And about this time, 285 meets you guys, and he is a little taller, and he tells you that I'm working hard to become a knight. And you see that he looks sun-bleached, like he's been outside a lot. He's gone from like that light green to almost like a sage or a mint, just a very, very faint, almost gray-white. And you see a dagger on his belt, a shield on his arm, gauntlets, an oversized chain shirt, boots, and the shield has a roughly painted insignia of Nightstone, the phoenix and the purple, and you can tell that he tried to do it. It doesn't look exactly right, but you know what he was going for. And he tells you, I've been working really hard to become a knight, and I've decided to take the name that you gave. I'm going to be Gideon Toussaint. Daphne says that's a really fancy Elven word, but I don't know what it means. And he loves it, and he says, makes me sound taller. He tells you that he has been working with Sidiri and Arand and Integrity on sparring techniques and fighting and trying to learn everything he needs to. He's been learning to read and write common, and he actually offers to read you a story, and he pulls out a book, and it bears the title, it has a baby dragon on the cover, and it bears the title, Are You My Mother?
Where did that come from? Does he have a bag too?
Yeah, a satchel or something along the like. He goes, well, I'm also kind of still messenger boy, so like I gotta carry stuff, Gulbrand. You've got bags, don't judge me. And he is begging for stories of your adventure.
Well, if you would have read Are You My Father, you would have known how this adventure turned out.
He goes, that's your dad? So like my grandpa? No, that's not how that works. So uncle, I don't. He's happy for you, and well, he's like, okay, cool. You brought more of your family. Vanessa and me talk all the time about your music and stuff, so that's cool.
You may
and
see
as-
a stone giant come here in a couple of days.
He goes, like the other two that came, like the fat ones.
Mhm.
No, not the fats ones.
No. What do you mean?
Or ripped.
Yeah, Gulbrand
Oh.
Gulbrand has to describe to him what a stone giant looks like.
I imagine his head like his neck just disappears and he's like, oh. um,
He doesn't talk.
You guys are what? Well, that's fine. I talk enough. Daphne says I talk enough for two people. That's great. And as you guys are walking through the courtyard, he freezes in his tracks. And you follow his gaze, and you see the Iron Ring agent, Derek, that you had hired, and he's standing in the square talking to someone, laughing heartily, seems to be making himself at home. And Gideon turns to you, and he says, "That guy, guys, he's part of the Iron Ring. We gotta stop him. He's probably here to kidnap people." And he takes out his dagger and starts to race off toward him.
Gulbrand wants to grab him. Like, if he puts it together, guys, he just wraps his big old hand around his arm.
Okay. He doesn't pull away, and he's like, "What?
Hold
Why?"
on. We knows. Be quiet. Walks with us.
Like, all right,
And
I'll play it cool.
I guess we're going
He,
towards the keep.
like
right?
very very chalantly, actually, makes his way up toward the main drawbridge of the keep with you guys, where you're far enough away if you wanted to impart something.
Gulbrand.
You got us into this mess.
Fair enough. It's would be wise, childs, not to talk about that man's past. We are
What?
aware, and it might benefit us, but only if you are very quiet about it.
But wait, you're protecting him? You're letting him?
Not quite.
What's? You told me you were gonna stop those guys. This isn't stop. When are you gonna start taking down the Iron Ring?
Gulbrand doesn't know the answer to that question.
After a pregnant
Yeah.
pause, he sort of shakes his head and he sort of sprints away to the stables. Looks pretty upset. As you guys are at the keep, Daphne greets you warmly. Says, "My lords, welcome home. I have some news for you, as well as a few parcels that have arrived in the mail." And makes your way into the war room, into the keep itself and the war room within.
Oh boy.
Do you guys have anything you want to do in town before you head that way?
I'm assuming Zat and Vakir are around, even if they didn't greet us
Yeah.
at the gate. They're.
I'll say Valkyr's probably in the tavern, and Zatari is actually in his room. You don't know that. of course,
Yeah,
but-
no. Anything I would do in town? I was going to suggest we have dinner in the tavern tonight so we could tell stories, but then 285 ran off. So
Okay.
now what?
You can do that later still. You make your way within, and Daphne tells you, perfect. I should tell you that, and forgive me if I am mispronouncing them, Herc and Mug, as well as the wolves, they showed up a couple of days ago. Caused quite a stir, but they were led to the Dripping Caves, and they've remained there ever since, other than when hunting. I thought, as the keep is generating more food than we require, that perhaps a fraction of the remainder could be donated to them to prevent any hunger-related issues. You understand, for security purposes. She also tells you that the citizens of Orlbar and Lork have arrived and have been making themselves quite at home. Construction crews are very busy working on new residences. Food supplies are sufficient.
Do we have
but
a stable for the sheep yet?
we do have a pasture, indeed, outside the city walls, of course. But and she tells you, if you are going to continue growing our city in such this manner, well, it is fantastic and wonderful and a new lifeblood for the city itself, we may need to expand in the future. Not yet, but down if you continue at this rate, sooner than later.
There are also, what did you say, 30 more is on the ways? But they will
she
not.
pulls out an abacus out of nowhere and like shuffles some things.
They
up.
will not
We should
reside
still
in
be-
the cities. They will likely camp outside.
She goes, we have significant food stores that we could perhaps we should share with them, no problem, and keep everyone fed. Oh, hello, Wolfie. Sorry, my dog got hit by a car, by the way.
Oh
Here's my
no.
poor little man, Wolfie. You can't really see, but this hip is shaved. He had to have surgery. Poor little guy.
Gee,
He's a little,
that's
little pitiful pup. No, yeah, for real. Anyhow, she also tells you, Davos specifically, a young woman, Helena, has been working as a summer hawk apothecary and has been doubling the output of Taylor and her wares, which is fantastic. Morak and Graf are very happy with the progress of the wall expansion. We expect it to be done sometime within the next 10 days. She'll ask you, she'll tell you, there are 2 letters for you on the table, but I should ask, what is your next destination? Or are you staying for a while? Do you know where you are headed after this?
God, so many things to process.
Yeah, no.
We should. We'll get back to you on that. We learned quite a few things in the layers of this Stone Giant Thane. We have
Nods
lots
ahead.
of things to
But of
discuss.
course. But of course, my lords. I'll leave you to your letters. She makes her way into the library. You have 2 letters. The first one is unlabeled. And you open it. It is from Osvius. And it says that he succeeded at his infiltration and learned that Lady Daggerford was very angry when she heard you threw out the merchant, and intends to block all attempts at diplomacy until you allow the merchants to set up shop in Nightstone. She also knows that Lady Daggerford is willing to offer a gift, some land, perhaps, as a token of goodwill, but only if she deems it necessary. He also discovered that she's been meeting in secret with a suspicious halfling man. Tells you that he hasn't gathered any hard evidence, but the guy seems slimy. Believes that he has some ties to a criminal organization. Zentarum, the Iron Ring, something like that. And he uses the codename The Snail. He was unable to infiltrate the chambers they met in, but is poised to try again, if you would so wish.
Maybe we should leave him south of that. He is like what, 14?
He's a little older than that. He's probably 17, 18, you know. He's right at the... I'd say he's a young adult, actually. He's probably 18, 19, 20. Somewhere in that range. But if you would like to, you could have him return to Nightstone to do internal investigations and defensive operations. You can have him sent to another city if you're curious about something. He could continue infiltrations within Waterdeep, whatever you're wanting. Which of those 3 do you think is the most viable?
Within not Waterdeep.
Oh, Daggerford. I'm sorry, you're correct.
What do y'all think? Where do you want to send him?
I was thinking either back home.
What?
Bringing him back home.
Okay.
I mean, I'm down. It's even, you know, when he gets done with that, maybe we send him out again after we've learned other things. Like, it would be nice to have him comb Nightstone.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I will tell you from a meta perspective, he would have found out a bit more about that merchant and some other things happening. But we'll burn that bridge when we come to it.
Sounded like you just did, but alright.
Yeah. You also have a letter from Lady Daggerford, which is very finely sealed with a wax emblem. And she tells you that she's pleased with her agent's report. She's happy with it overall. However, she does mention that news reached her of a merchant that was expunged from the town after a lord had raided through his stall. She was displeased with this, and tells you that civil trade policies with merchants from Daggerford are necessary for any further diplomacy. Daphne will tell you that trade from Daggerford amounts to a sum of about 500 gold a month. There is also one final thing, where she says, despite my reports, this is Lady Daggerford, despite my reports, I will admit being uncomfortable with not having a face to do business with. As Lords of Nightstone, you are cordially invited to attend the Shield Meet Ball, so that we may become better acquainted. Not all lords need attend, but at least half is courteous. This is a prerequisite to any further negotiations, defensive or economic.
Hells yeah. Party.
After someone reads this to Gulbrand, he says, "What the catty bitch."
Daphne, who's been listening at the door of the library, pops her head in like, the shield meets ball. Oh, it is decadent and opulent. It is a celebration of the extra day that comes but once every 4 years. Oh, I used to go with Lady Valrosa after the Lord's passing and would have the time of my life. But all the leadership of Northern Faerun will be there. It is a great opportunity to learn more about your rival lords as well as make impacting alliances. Not to mention establishing your presence on the political stage of Faerun. It is customary to bring a companion, so it need not be a romantic partner. I also, she looks you up and down, would recommend dressing a little finer than you are accustomed to.
Makes sense.
Not that there's anything wrong with your clothes, it's just that this is a very, this is a show of power, and while your power may come in the form of the physical, there is a power that only coin can buy.
I've
Well,
been
we do
told
got
we
a
have
gnome
lots of
tailor.
that. Oh, I guess you're right.
Alistair, who's been sort of like cluelessly following you, like, yeah, I'm here to help. Yeah, I can do some of that stuff for you. I can make you an outfit for 50 gold each, but if you give me an additional 500, I can make you clothes that will impact a certain impression. And meta-wise, you can pick one, and it'll give you advantage on any of the charisma skills: deception, intimidation, persuasion, or performance. Basically, he's making your outfit to make you seem a certain way. So if you wanted intimidation, he would make you look stronger, make you look bigger. If it were deception, he would make you look more trustworthy, more honest.
This would be 500 for the whole party or each person?
It would be 500 plus 50 gold each.
Yeah, but I mean that's 550 each. But
No. 500 plus 50 gold each.
Plus 2.
So if only 4 lords
Oh.
are going, that's 200, that's 700.
I see.
He does tell you that if you are willing to invest more, that he can do the same thing with your current outfits, to where you could still be wearing the arms and armor that you're wearing, but still have that effect. I think it's 1,000 gold thing. Let me look just to be sure.
Where the fuck did we find this? In a fucking giant spot. It's got this fucking Stamets ones.
To be fair, he was written in her pocket to begin with. I'm just making him
No, I feel you.
useful. He was supposed to steal your airship, or try to, and I was like, I don't like that. I don't. We'll take that out.
Guys. No, so I'm kind of down to have our outfits commissioned. Like, even if we get all of us, you said 700 gold total. Like, that's not a lot to us anymore. I do not believe.
Yeah, we're
Right. We
pretty
picked that
low.
up in the Rock's Nest. Yeah, I'd
One
say
second, I'm gonna find his.
definitely do the 700 gold.
Hmm.
So the
You can make
700 is
them-
for just your regular outfits. It will be 1,500 to where he can do it to your armor and stuff as well.
Down
I'm
if you're-
good
That's your
with
total price.
just the fancy clothes, but
I mean,
don't
just
know
the
how much
fancy
gold
clothes?
yet.
We
if
have a
y'all wanna
lot.
do the other ones too. Right, I mean,
Y'all have nearly 20k.
Yeah, we have
Oh.
9,000. We have 9,000 gold in like solid gold or like coins, I guess, and then like with all the jewelry and stuff in the bag, like Joey said, it's 20,000 gold.
You did give a portion of that to Nightstone, just so you know.
Yeah, it's that.
Well, you
that's how
said
it's
that
ac-
you would. You have it.
Well, it's accounted for in my notes. Like there was a portion
Okay.
I just never added in or whatever.
I see.
But the numbers
Then
I'm
hell
using are
yeah.
the ones that are in the chat.
so we'd have to pick one skill of all the charisma
You would have to pick one of those, yeah. So intimidation, persuasion,
Deception.
deception, or performance. Performance, intimidation, deception, persuasion.
I got a +8 to persuasion, so that one I'm not gonna need. I'm gonna say
All
for
of
me,
those are -1.
for me,
I was saying, for the bard, oh, I don't need any of that. For the barbarian, please, yes, something.
Right. I'll say a deception for me, both my fighting gear and fancy clothes. Keep it simple.
Okay. Devin, if you'll mark 1,500 gold out of the treasury.
Mhm.
Bergen, what kind of skill do you want to invest in?
It was persuasion, deception,
Persuasion,
performance,
deception, performance, or deception. Or intimidation, excuse me.
intimidation. Let me go persuasion.
Persuasion, fantastic.
You know,
Gulbrand?
I was actually thinking about persuasion too, but I might just go not deception, intimidation.
Intimidation? I
Yeah.
was about to say, you need the intimidation boost. You should be more intimidating, but...
And I guess
we'll...
tally. Should we wait for him to decide?
We'll wait for him to do it, yeah. I'll mark him down as question mark for now. If he's back next week, he'll be back likely before the ball anyway. Alright.
Yeah, he's got +0 to all of them, so... The only one we haven't done would be performance.
Yeah, it'd be almost... I kind of thought you would take performance, but you're right that you probably have a really high score to it already.
I got a +5. I'll tell you what, if he wanted deception, then I would move mine to performance.
You could pick something someone else has picked, but if you want to do that just so you all have advantage on a different skill, you could do that.
That's why I would do that. But for now,
Okay.
deception. But like I said, if he wants it, I'll swap to performance.
10-4.
Does we have to go? Gulbrand's ask when they start counting out coins for outfits.
Daphne says, well, it would be, you could choose to pass it up. However, if you are suspicious of this Lady Daggerfoot, it would be a wonderful opportunity to see her face to face, which is growing increasingly difficult the last few months. I also believe that you could, perhaps make impacting alliances with the other lords. Waterdeep and Secumber are neighbors, and you have not been properly acquainted. It would be good for you to try to make alliances where possible.
Do they have like a gentleman training class or something here?
Yeah, I was gonna say, they are good at those things. So this is not.
Daphne is more than willing to teach you a few dances and some common courtesies and etiquette. Not a formal thing, but as you guys have time, you'll learn enough to where you're not sticking out like sore thumbs. And she reminds you that you can bring each a companion, so you can have somebody to help guide you through things or assist you with certain checks.
I imagine she does this with Tally too, who also will have no idea what's going on.
Yeah. I mean, he knows Lady Daggerford's sus. I don't think he knows much else though.
No, I mean like he was, because he's also mostly feral, so like the
I see
gentleman
what you're saying,
training
yeah.
he also needs.
Well, she's offering this to all of you because while Davos might be the exception, most of you probably don't know some of the finer dances that are performed in court, which are performed elsewhere, but something that might be expected to do. And while you could stand out, there are opportunities that lie within.
I'm just a small town bard. I know how to do the Cotton Eye Joe. That's about it.
We're gonna do the extended rest a little different. She does tell you this is shield meet. This is the leap year that Faerun gets, and that's a little over a 10-day away.
Oh,
To be precise,
like 11 or 12 days.
you guys are in Flame Rule. You arrived on Nightstone on the 18th, so there's 12 more days of this month. After that, there's Midsummer, which is a normal holiday.
An annual
It's to mark
holiday.
Yeah, and then after that, there's Shield Meet, which comes only once a year. And that is the day of the ball.
So how many days away is that?
12, 13.
Altogether, 13.
Yeah.
I think it's the
we have our
13th day.
annual festival, and then the day after is the shield meet.
Yes, sir.
Dang it. I was hoping to get blitzed in town, but I think Daggerford's more than a day's ride away.
Not if you take the airship. For what it's worth, we'll burn that bridge when we come to it.
Look at the roll.
For the extended rest, I'm going to do this a little differently than we have in the past. Basically, day by day, I'm going to tell you certain things that happen. And at the end, if there's anything that you wanted to follow up on, or anything that you wanted to do that we didn't talk about,
Oh, he's
you
taking
can
off
tell
his
me
shirt.
and we'll
get
knock that out.
serious.
Yeah. I'm the Fathor.
I like it.
Really funny story about this shirt. I wore this to the theater one day, and this really sweet woman, she does a lot of work with special needs children. She's very funny, very Christian, very sweet woman. But she looks at this and she goes, I'm afraid I don't know what a fat whore is. And I was floored. I was like,
clearly it's me. I'm wearing the shirt.
And the funny thing is, it has the definition beneath it.
Right.
Like a regular dad, just way mightier. But oh god, I still think of that every time I put this on.
That's awesome.
We're gonna do a couple of things. Under your strongholds and followers tab, I'm gonna drop a list of, no, I don't want it like that, of what you can requisition. This tells you what buildings you can improve, what the effect would be, how much it would cost, and what the days are. You guys don't necessarily have to decide on this right this minute, but there's a lot of information, and rather than drone on and bore you with it, I'm going to put it there. And what I'll say is you guys can look it over after session, and then whatever you pick, we will actually do that retroactively. You have enough gold to where you can line up several of these projects if you want to. There's also...
I think expanding the city is definitely on there.
And I misspoke earlier, and I apologize for that. At this point, you guys still have a good chunk of land where you can build several more buildings. You can choose to expand, which would give you a similar size area on the opposite end of town. But what I meant to say was expanding the farms. If you are going to continue to grow, you're going to need more food to provide for your people. Farms are relatively easy and quick and cheap to build. So you can, requisition 3 or 4 or 5 or whatever. And whatever you have excess in food gets turned to coin. I think it's 25 gold for every additional food point. There's also... I think everyone has done some training, except for Tally, who I was going to ask. About this time, you hear a crash from upstairs. And before you can even fully rise to your feet and head to it, Zatari comes barreling down the stairs, not falling down them, but flying through. And you see he has fashioned some type of propulsive device onto his ankles, onto his feet, and is basically Star-Lording it up and flying about. And after he crashes, he sort of scrambles up and he goes, "Oh, you guys are home. I didn't know. I was just working on a little something, after that chick made me fly in Golden Fields. I had a little bit of inspiration and thought I could throw something together."
That is awesome.
It's like, yeah, I know. Haven't worked out all the kinks yet, but I'm working on it.
Yeah, same.
Tally during this rest would also have finished his tree line armor, so I'll give him that perk when he gets back. You guys can't do the training. Davos, you could choose to spend time with your family, with the temple, or with the Devin, quit doing that. With your family, with the temple, or with your band, and your newest requisitions. You were told that Timpani has also arrived.
I have to pick one, or?
You can spend your time between the 3, but it's more of during each downtime you get to bond with a certain NPC.
Okay.
So you can pick one NPC out of that you would like to, and it's not really a physical benefit you get from it, other than perhaps some backstory, depending on who you go with.
I guess the band, or
Oh my, am I back?
She might be my +1 to Daggerford. I don't know.
Who, Timpani? Or
Helena. Helena.
Either or would be a good call. You
So
guys,
I don't know if I would have to bond with her to make it any better.
You could go talk to her if you'd like. We've got that scheduled for one of the days anyway, so I don't mind doing that right now.
I just meant during my downtime. Yeah,
Okay.
her and the band, and then sure, I have Sunday dinner with the fam.
Gotcha. Sundays only come once every 10 days here. That's not nice. That's not enough time for your family. Are we worth 10% of
My
your time?
mom's
One
Jewish,
meal on
now
one
come
10. Everyone's Jewish. That's my secret.
Every mom's Jewish.
Let me put Helena. And Bergen, we're going to get to you in a second, my dude. You guys eat drink, tell stories in the tavern, regale people with your tales and your adventures and your exploits. To varied responses. Some are like, oh my god, that's incredible. We're so lucky to have the lords here. And some of them are like, these dudes get in an awful fucking lot of trouble. And then some of them are like, this is bullshit. You know, they don't say that aloud, but you get that kind of like eye roll to it. Timpani's like, there's no way he slew a dragon. Like he's bullshitting me, surely. But
Don't we
you
have
go
the
to rest.
dragon's head? Or
You do.
Yeah.
You have the dragon's head, the poison glands, and everything.
hang
You
it up
slap it
on, like,
onto the
the
table, and Timpani goes,
Right.
"Oh, shit. Okay." You haven't properly preserved it because it's just been in the bag of holding. So when you pull it out, it's starting to rot a little bit. Like the eyes are a little like milky, and like it's got a smell to it. And everyone like immediately like pulls 5 or 10 feet back from you. But you quickly stow it away, and after a few minutes, the smell dissipates. While you're
You're
there,
like, damn apples.
I love them. You guys go and have your rest. And Bergen, you find yourself dreaming. You're walking through a frigid tundra. Snow bluffs surround you, and it crunches beneath your feet. The wind howls, and the snow shifts. And you realize that they're not snow bluffs at all, but rather frozen foliage. Wooden plants that wouldn't grow in a place like this. You feel the bitter chill as the earth rumbles, and a figure approaches, a large insectoid creature that you recognize from the temple of the Eye of the Allfather as Erembor. And mounted upon its back is a towering frost giant, but not any frost giant. A hulking figure, clad in Viking-style armor, with cracked blue skin and long braided white hair and beard, a dual-horned helmet resting atop his glaring brow. And you recall seeing him in the Temple of Helm, nearly 2 years ago. The man who destroyed it. The man who killed your mother. In a thundering voice, the giant demands you to hand over the ring. And before you can even process it, you find yourself speaking. But in another voice. And it says, "No, Storvald. You can never possess the ring. Helm will never allow it to be." You twirl your wrist as a rapier of ice forms within your grasp. Frozen fractals of dimly glowing magic around it. Storvald bellows and swings an immense great axe, but a wall of ice rises before him and shatters as it takes the blow. Storvald shoves through the ice and lurches for you as the snow rises into an enormous hand that grips him tight. The earth rumbles as the insectoid beast snaps through the frozen water and coils around the snowy hand, the heat from it hissing and melting the hand away. Storvald once again swings from above as jagged, frozen spikes emerge from the ground and stab into him, buying you just enough time to back away. He charges through surprisingly swiftly, and the axe nearly strikes you in the leg, but instead breaks into the putrid, icy waters that begin to gush from below the ice. As you look down into it, you twirl your hands, and the water comes up and forms a frozen sphere of ice several inches thick around you that Storvald just begins to crash into repeatedly. But in the ice, in the shining sheen, you catch a glimpse of yourself. And you see a familiar man. Red hair. And after a moment, you realize he looks like your mother. The two fight and wage war on this frozen tundra as your dream fades. And instead, you see the figure of the gauntlet floating freely above you as you hear the echoing words of Helm within your ear. The burden of the Guardian is one of constant vigilance. You must prevent this from unfolding Stonespire. Find Kimber. Stop Storvald. Prevent his ice age. The sharp snap. You jolt awake in the early hours of the morning and hear your friends speaking downstairs. How does Bergen react in this moment?
Pretty shaken up, I'd imagine, but he gathers his belongings and hurries down to share the experience with his comrades.
How do you react to hearing this dream?
Did they give a time? When is this gonna happen?
You don't know.
That would be how I reacted. Like, do we gotta go now? Should we
I-
go now?
I'm not even sure.
Dude, this is not common. You don't have dreams like this often. This is the first
Only
time I've heard
one
you
other-
talks about it. One other
Only-
times?
Yeah, only one other time, but it wasn't really. It's very prophetic, like nothing out of the norm, like in a battlefield and whatnot. Like we've been in a bunch of those.
And it did feel different. The one you had previously was unsettling. This one felt more direct, more from your patron. You're not sure what the other one was, if it was real, if it was imagined. But this one definitely felt like Helm guiding you. You do have a few pieces of the puzzle that you have to unravel first, though. You received a bit of information about this man, Kimber.
Yeah, I guess I need to explain to them that he's my uncle, a great uncle, or a strange
Distant
uncle.
relative.
Or...
Yeah. You've never met him. The only thing you know is that his name, his last name, Kimber, was your mother's maiden name. And somehow they're related. You gather.
This man has a powerful artifacts. That's what I'm gathering from all of this.
A ring?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, whatever that is.
The Ring of Winters. What do any of you knows what this thing does?
One ring to rule them all.
Anyone who wants to can make a history check.
Gulbrand will try
History.
because he's wandering, but gross.
I have no
Never heard of it.
I love that you consistently roll low in history. That just seems
Wow.
very fitting.
Get it out of the way. Yeah, we never
Yeah.
heard of any.
Roll one for tally too, just to,
Alright,
for shits and
how's- yeah.
gigs.
Plus 0. Here we go. That's awesome.
We don't give a
Gulbrand, you rolled
shit.
highest. I revoked
Is
this.
there somebody in town that might be able to help us here?
You could ask some people, but initially none of you really seem to know what this
All of
is.
us sitting around the table eating porridge or some shit like we're tried. You know, who knows?
You do know what you do know is that it seems to be powerful. Storvold wants it. And Bergen, you would gather that the things you were seeing, the frozen spikes, the sphere of ice, the hand of snow, were because of the ring. That Kimber was utilizing it to do these things.
But you were for
Can't really-
sure told to prevent this from happening.
Yeah,
You also know where Kimber is.
I do.
He's in elsewhere. We got that out of the Steinfang.
Oh, right,
Elsier,
right.
yeah.
Elsewhere? How do you say it?
Elsier. E-L-S-I-R. Elsier. Elsvier is where the Khajiit are from in Skyrim.
I see. Do we know how to get there?
It's another realm.
Oh shit.
That's Tally's department.
I would ask for history checks again, but
Yeah.
Lord knows y'all never get
we go quiz Daphne.
The name sounds familiar. Elsier. Elsier. Don't we know somebody from there?
Do we know someone from there? I can't.
Tally sort of musing aloud.
Is it the fortune teller chick?
Medley?
Maybe.
No. You're getting warmer.
Who do we know that's from Elsewhere? I don't know.
And on that note, it's time for a bathroom break.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and take a break. See if you can figure out where Elsier came from. I'll even tell you this. It's in your notes somewhere.
God,
And the
there's
notes on the
25
Discord.
sessions of notes to look through.
Yeah, but there's this thing called Control F that lets you find shit. God.
Jeez, Devin.
Alright, see you boys in 10. Alright,
And this
I
is-
think we're all four here.
Yes.
Forgot where we left off. We said we'll talk about that when we come back, and I have forgotten completely. It was about Kimber. Oh, you know someone from Elsier. And Davos, I'll say it's one of your bandmates.
Is it the chick with the pan flute?
Nope, not Medley.
Not-
Devin, you should know this as being Devin.
Oh wait,
Is
the
that
one he
is
liked.
it the is it the redheaded chick?
Timpani?
No! Oh my
No.
God.
I still. Oh, the word Elsie is
You've
not
guessed,
clicking with
like, Elsir's another realm. You've only met one other character that has come from another realm. And has told you how he got here.
That was
And you
probably the
should
one
know
that I
it.
wasn't here for. Oh, that was what's his face?
me. Mezzo. Okay.
Yeah.
Mezzo.
That's-
There we go. You know that Mezzo is from Elsir. That he told you, Davos, when you bonded with him previously, that he had been transported to this realm. Elsir had been lost, overrun by monsters, and he fled using the will of his patron, who transported him here to Faerun. If you said you were going to spend some time with him, so we'll say that you speak to him about this. He doesn't know how to get back. He doesn't know if he could go back if he really wanted to, and he knows that it's incredibly dangerous. Hordes of monsters, unlike anything, overran the continent, destroyed every civilized city, every last enclave of elves in the wood, deep dwarven cities. It wiped everything off the map.
Sounds like
So-
our kind of place.
Would be difficult, and you know that you have to either get there or stop Storvold from getting there. According to Helm, to
So
Elsir.
Storvold is currently in Faerun.
You
That's what I
know
understand.
that the message on the Steinfang says he knows how to get there. Didn't say he was there. Said he knows how to get there.
I don't
Sounds
know
like
if we're
that's
really.
our best bet. Confronting him.
Mm. But how do we get there? Another plane. That's
We may not have to go there. That's what I just
No.
got out of
Tally
that.
does say, well, seems like portals are popping up all over the place these days.
Oh yeah, maybe we can go to another one of your tribe graves, and there's a portal there.
But only the ones missing things.
We
And it's
can
not even
arrange
necessarily
that.
at the grave, it's just around. Also, yes. Okay. We'll wrap up that dream bit. You guys can chew on that for a bit, unless you have anything else you want to plan overtly for it. It's sort of meant to be a lead more than it is, something you can directly follow right now.
Let's get
What do
right
we
on his
decide
ball.
with? What do we decide with Osvius? That would be something good for him to investigate if we didn't want him to
That's a good point.
browse night to But I'm still down for him to comb Nightstone, but figured I would mention it. He can at least tell us if Storvold is still on his plane.
Cool. The next day, Derek of the Iron Ring, your agent arrives. Tells you that he has sent for his family in Neverwinter. He's agreed to return to his superiors and relay information to you in Nightstone, as often as he can. You also have that undercommon note that you wanted Valkyr to read, which if you present to him, he quickly translates. All right, shit. I'm a little buzzed here. Give me a second. Malinia, Anessa, Helena, Timpani. And then it goes on to talk about what they look like and what's this part here? No less than 9, no more than 12. At CC, pass off 2 heads to the Spider Priestess. Kind of looks up. That's a priestess of Lolth. He keeps reading. Bring the named and the others to WD so they can be set a sail. If they catch you, kill the girl and bring her body back with the SS, and use the diamond to bring her back for future leverage. Do not fail the Horned Dwarf, or it'll be your last mistake. I'll drop this in game notes so you guys have a copy.
Sounds like we got a date in Waterdeep.
I was about to say, is our to-do list is getting awful long.
It is. Lots of things going on. And this isn't something you have to do now.
Yeah.
But you know that that's where what they were planning to do with the prisoners. They were planning to transport them to WD, Waterdeep. Do you guys know what the at CC pass off two heads?
Add
Mm-mm.
closed captioning.
Closed
Deliver two
captioning,
dead
that's it.
bodies.
At
Yep.
CC. Spider Priestess. Is it a city or perhaps a place in the Underdark?
No, it is a place in the Underdark, not a named place. It stands for Cavern Crossroads. After
Where we
deliberating on this, you would figure out where you saw the footprints walk off in a separate direction. You gather at this point they met with the Spider Priestess and passed off two heads to her.
I see. Two people to her.
Just the head. No, yeah, two people. You saw enough footprints. Daphne also tells you that she's compiled a list of information. Derek has told the guard of the common Iron Ring disguises, aliases, and methods of infiltration. He tells you guys that their tactics typically include snatching refugees and helpless travelers they encounter, trying to go for the vulnerable, the people who won't be missed until they're too far away. The Iron Ring is based out of Skullport, which you know is deep beneath Waterdeep. And the only way that he knows to Skullport is by speaking to Uliss, Uliss, at the Sleeping Snake, though he's never been down there personally. Daphne will tell you that there's other ways to get there through the Underdark, but they are incredibly dangerous. You also know that the Iron Ring has been working with the Zentarum, as you found out from them going to the Zentarum bar and working in the Zentarum city, and that they have a personal vendetta against you and your loved ones.
Imagine that.
I means, we did kinds of ask for it.
You did.
We got an
On the
octopus for that.
On the third day, Donovan burst out of the library while you were at lunch one day, and comes in and he has the rubbing of the rune that had been given to you, or that you had made, and he lays it down. He's like, "I think I finally got it. All right. It's a little difficult, but this rune here," and he points out to it, is actually made of three smaller runes, and he circles them with his finger. This one here is draconic. It means unyielding. While this one here is infernal. It means ceaseless. And this one seems to be an ancient type of Jotun, giant, but I do not know its meaning, and they likely require a very wise giant's interpretation.
Like the one that should already be here by now.
He is not here yet.
Yeah.
And he may not know about this per se.
We also
He might-
could ask Sephiroth.
This is, yeah, but say this is a rune, not just the everyday writing. So this isn't like even Harshnag didn't know all the runes and stuff, and nor did
Zephyros.
well, Zephyros. I think he does actually know all of them. Anywho, if you suggest this, Talia will call him up on the mirror, and
Oh.
he'll be able to translate it as Dod, the death rune.
Oh.
So you have unyielding, ceaseless, death. Are the three runes that make up this one particular rune. Now this is just one part of a much larger artifact. But Donovan is blown away by this. This gives me quite a bit to study up on. I have to learn more about this Jotun. I have to... please, do you know anything else about the Nightstone?
Does the term Dodkong mean anything to use?
He's a stone giant, isn't he? He's an important figure of the Thousand Years' War.
As
I can't
I'm
say
not the scholar, so do not know. That apparently is called the Dodkong's Stone.
The Dodkong stone.
They call it. I can't say
Who could
that.
have created it?
Uh,
The Knockdodstein.
Yeah.
Knockdodstein.
Gulbrand butchers
Some-
that.
He goes, I've never heard of that, but I will research it. By the way, did you slayed the dragon? I heard your tale in the tavern. Did you bring back the glands or the talons by chance?
Those.
Yes.
He'll help.
What?
Yeah, he'll help Tally hand those over.
Yeah. He tells you you can use these for quite a few things. You can
Gulbrand
use
wants
the
to keep the
talons.
talon, though.
You can keep a talon. We'll say that. Trophies. I'll say Davos gets one too for landing the killing blow. You get the 2 big fangs. He tells
I
you
think
that
Bergen
the
has the
talons.
other 2. So he gets to pick what to do with the other
did he?
2.
Oh, there's just the 4 fangs, isn't there?
Yeah. The talons, I think there are only 4.
You can use the talons to make enhanced arrows. You can use the talons and the poison glands to make venomous enhanced arrows. Or you can use just the glands to make powerful poisons. If you would like to do any of those 3.
I know someone in the apothecary.
If you take it down to Miss Helena.
I don't actually know how to make poisons.
What?
Gulbrand's over here like, I don't actually know how to make poisons.
Yeah, that's right. You're just medicinal, aren't you? No needs of such things in Utgard's people.
Yeah.
You do visit Helena at the Summerhawk Apothecary, and she's been doing great work. Taylor very happily brags on her. Oh no, she's been great. She's taught me quite a few things, and I've readied her up, and now we're producing twice as much as we used to. I think it's working out pretty well. Making a fair bit of coin on the side now that there's a lot more people coming through Nightstone. And Helena smiled.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Gulbrand wants to stock up on anything he might be out of, because he gave her a list of stuff he carries usually. So
Yeah,
he wants to provide business by like...
Give her 3 gold pieces, and she'll give you your normal extra bloodgrass, extra this, extra that. And you can pick any 2 ingredients on your... Let's actually make it 5 gold pieces, and pick any 2 ingredients on your thing besides the bloodgrass, and you can add those to your inventory.
On the thing, heard.
Any
On the
luck
thing,
with
yes.
I got you.
the other commission?
Which other commission?
Regarding my friend here, Gulbrand.
I mean...
Commission?
well, yes.
Something that could help him out, drug-wise.
Oh, you asked her to investigate blood. I'm sorry, I forgot about that. She tells you, unfortunately, it seems exclusive to the youth cart that they're the only ones crazy enough and durable enough to try this and survive. It can have impacting effects on your health. From what I gather, it affects the respiratory and the ocular system. It could cause damage to your lungs, your eyes, your nose,
Just
your mouth.
kinda like looking at Gulbrand this whole time.
Like, thinking of his blind mentor that you met last session, like...
Gulbrand's over here like...
She says, well, Davos, you or me could only use this a few times, maybe. And I don't think we would get the same benefit out of it as they do. It would be very harmful to us. I don't admit to know a lot about the anatomy of Goliaths, but they're definitely hardier, so it could take years. It could be months. I guess it depends on how frequently you use it. But I'll tell you, I smoked a lot of this shit, and I didn't see fuck all.
So nothing that could reduce the effects of it, like, temporarily?
Not that I can glean now, but I'm learning a lot here, and I think I could probably learn more about this down the line. And bloop, bloop, bloop.
As long as you keep this here for me to resupplies, that's all that really matters.
And I pull out like a
Excellent.
crumpled up piece of parchment out of my pocket. It says this is a coupon for 1 free kiss from Helena.
She laughs and takes it. It's actually a coupon for 2 greater healing potions, and she puts them 2 greater healing potions onto the counter for you. And the kiss I'll give for free. And she pecks you one real quick.
Hells yeah.
So not mad.
You wanna
She
come
she
to a
does
ball
ask.
with me?
Oh, you're making the move. All right. I mean, a ball, like dancing and music and drinks and stuff.
Yeah, it's business, but like, you know, for
Oh,
appearance's sake.
of course. No, that sounds so fun. You're not working it, are you? You're not like the entertainment, right?
No.
Okay. I don't know what you do now. I'm sorry. That's really funny because I had some stuff scripted, but that's much cuter, and we're just gonna go with that. No, she's elated and it's just immediately like, oh god, what am I gonna wear? I've got to talk to Daphne. I've got to borrow some things. I've got to, I could use my paycheck. Stop by the Lion Shield Coster. I could get a couple of things, and she's just set on this.
I volunteer to pay for whatever she would need.
Do you want to send hers to the little man we found at the pockets?
Does he do women? Women's clothes? Women's clothes?
Probably not, but yes, he does. He does women's clothing, in fact, yes. Yeah, you could pay 50 more gold to have her an outfit commissioned, and you can you could choose to just give her an allowance and say, go buy what you want at the Lion Shield Coster, or go to Waterdeep and shop, or maybe not go to somewhere else and shop. I mean, people do that, but I don't know. She was abducted, so maybe not send her out just yet.
Right. Score.
Yeah. Let me back up just
I
a
got
little
my date, Gulbrand. What about you?
To be
taunting.
To be honest, I don't know if Hideas will be back in times, but I don't think she would want to go, because I sure as fuck don't. But it is, I believe it's important that I seize this Lady Daggerfords. You never really gets the measures of someone who lays eyes upon them. After that, I'm skipping all of these bullshits. I don't know.
What about you, Bergen?
Nah, probably go
Do we need to
solo.
find this man a date?
Definitely not.
Oh, it is customary to bring a companion. We'll see if anyone pops up. So you also give her the poison glands, and she tells you, "No, I can make something of this. Are you wanting something that you can use several times, or would you like just one really potent poison?"
Kind of turn to the group.
I feel like at this point, Gulbrand leans down to look at, kind of looks side-eyed at Davos, we're not going to poison anybody at this balls, are we?
I would be lying if I said the thought did not cross my mind.
Tally's like, "We'll see. We'll get the poison and then decide what it's for, friend. It's more important to have it when you need it than plot out any debts. That's called premeditation, and that, my friend, will give you time."
I think we should
I guess
get
one
the
big one.
yeah the big one.
The big one?
Yeah.
Potent poison. Sweet. All right. The following day, Miros, the Yeti, your blacksmith, comes to you. He says, "I heard you're heading north.
Propac.
If you're going to make your way up there, it would be wise to get some additional protection against the elements. I made you those cloaks. Or excuse me, no. I can use the Yeti-Skins you brought to fashion you gear along with the winter clothing you already have to give you cold resistance. Not just from the elements, but from creatures such as white dragons or snow elf. Something else that uses snow magic. I don't fucking know. Yetis, I guess. I am a Yeti, but I think that's bullshit. I've heard very good things."
I mean,
Yeah,
I'm
they
sure
weren't as
we
kind
appreciate
as you
this.
were.
Yes, they were much bigger.
It's like, "Well, I'm not actually a Yeti. It's just I have a skin condition. I don't like to talk about it. It's glandular. It's But he does tell you, if you would like, you can use your Yeti hides to get cold resistance, with your winter clothes, which you can wear over your armor.
Yeah,
I
should
don't
do
know
it.
what else we'd be doing with them.
That's why I'm just cleaning out your bag here. You got stuff in the works.
It's only mark off for everyone but Gulbrand because he's already cold resistant. So he does it.
Okay.
He just does.
I don't know if you have 4 or 5 or how many you have, but I'll check. The following day, Gideon comes up to you guys. You've noticed he's been scarce. He hasn't been up your ass the last couple of days like he normally
I was
is.
wondering about that.
He comes up and he's like, "So, I talked to Daphne, and she said she knew about the guy, and she said that sometimes adults use something called subtle fudge to get more information, and I
Did
get
Devin
it."
tell you how to pronounce that word?
Also, I just thought of that a minute ago, and I'm really proud of it. So, subtle fudge. Hashtag subtle fudge. But so I forgive you for not killing him on sight, I guess.
That sounds rehearsed.
She had me run through it twice, yeah.
We
I
know
hope
how much they hurt you. And believe me, it wasn't something that we didn't think about. We didn't just bring them in on a whim. We saw it for the greater good to stop more Iron Circle.
It's like, should I tell the other liberated? I mean, they might recognize him too. Granted, I was in the system, I guess, longer than most, but if I did, someone else might.
perhaps we should have him disguise himself. I don't want to tell that many peoples. That does not sound wise.
Right.
Oh, the last thing Derek did tell you is that he is heading to Waterdeep. I think at this point he's already gone. He was to resume his anticipated schedule to try to get in before things got too suspicious. Say that the caravan was attacked, Lords of Nightstone again. They killed a bunch of people, made off with the slaves. He was one of the few that got out, which isn't untrue.
So he's already gone then.
Yeah. So I guess there's no need for him to say
Man,
anything to the others.
we didn't set any way to keep a tab on him. Is the worst part. Hope his family actually shows up.
We have our ways.
Yeah, I mean, if we have to find him and hunt him down and gut him, I'll fucking do it. I'll spend a whole half of
I
a
believe
session
it.
to do it.
No, you will. Gideon does ask, so since like we're cool now, can you guys try to teach me magic? Please. I just really want to do some stuff. I don't know. I think I got some powers. I don't know. I feel like I can do cool stuff, but I don't know how to do, you know?
One of yous might be better to do that. I
Hardly
don't knows any things
fully
about the
capable.
magics you cast in all the heavy armors.
It's like, but I want to learn the rock thing. The rock thing, the magic stone thing.
We can try, but I can't do any things they can do. Well, I guess that's not true. I guess I can do some things that clerics can do.
Could take a
What makes
lot
you
more
think he's
hits
gonna
of
be a
blood
cleric?
mead.
Lots of the front.
Gulbrand gets into your stash of, or excuse me, Gideon gets into your stash of god damn it, bloodweed.
Don't do
Words.
that. Lots of funs.
You guys make your way out of the walls into sort of a secluded area on the edge of the forest, and he's most excited about the stone spell. He's like, I want you to teach me. How do you do it?
Okay. He will do the same. He'll try to follow the same process that Lothar would have used when he was teaching Gulbrand. You know, albeit Gulbrand was an adult the first time he had to learn how to do this, but he'll teach him all the components, the verbal components, the somatic components.
Make them up for me real quick.
I need to see the spell. Give me just a second.
Well, just like what's the verbal thing you say in Bothy to make it trigger? I know I'm putting you on the spot.
Well,
I thought this might be fun.
He doesn't speak Balthi though, so he tells him.
You can teach him a word in Balthi, just like I could teach you buongiorno. You know.
Well, he teaches him to say in Balthi that Uthgard guide this stone, and
Uthgard guide this stone. I like it.
If I could find the other component, it may just be a rock. Pick it up. He picks it up. Hey, sorry. But he'll pick it up and he says this to it, and I like to think maybe he even spits on it, and that's the component to get it to it start to glow and turn magical, and then he'll throw it whatever they're using as target practice.
He takes the stone and he says it all close, not quite. It kind of like goes a little off, and it's like, Uthgard, hide this stone. And he spits on it, but it's like one of those long stringy spits. It doesn't quite break clean. He's like trying to get it to snap. Skittle spit. And he rubs it in and he throws it. And nothing happens. And he goes and gets it again. And he tries it again. Nothing happens. He says, he holds it up to you. This is the rock you gave me when we fought those bad guys, the day you met me. I thought if I used the same one... And he says it again, and it's a little more clear. He's taking his time, enunciating. and he spits on it, rubs it in, and he throws it, and it flies 60 feet, hits a tree, and you hear a solid knock as he jumps like 3 feet in the air and is elated and like, oh, I gotta find that rock, and like runs off to it. I'm magic. I can do shit. And
You don't
and
need
he-
that fucking rocks.
I need that rock. And he
Feel
brings
bad
it
for all
back
the
and
pigeons in Nightstone.
oh, don't worry, they'll be cleared out in a week. He keeps that stone, but you
Once
see him
you-
try it on other things.
It's-
Like, okay, it
Once you can
works.
do it to one stones, you can start doing it to multiples.
But
I usually
this
do
one you
threes
did,
at a
it's-
times.
This one you did. It's I don't know. It's special. It was my first weapon. Well,
Go-
one of my first weapons.
And then roll. I'm sorry, odd or even?
Even?
Sorry, hold on. You said no. You said even.
Oh God, don't do this to me.
Sorry, I'm really trying to decide. I don't know if he would do this or not. So odd, he will
Do the
do
thing
this.
I
and
want
even
you
he
to
will.
do.
Oh no! What? Would you just leave it alone?
No, I don't know. What?
I'm sorry,
Do
I
it.
can't get it to do.
Just do your thing.
Gulbrand's gonna check the urge to like literally like pluck it from his hand and just chuck it into the river, into the mud.
You're an asshole.
Like it's not the fucking
This
rock.
rock means everything to this kid. Oh God. You're a. Do you do
If
it?
he does that,
You fight
I
the
will.
urge?
I'm not-
If I'm there, I'm gonna cast Mage Hand and catch it.
I love it. Let's
Oh,
keep
yeah,
it.
no, okay, that's fair. No.
Gulbrand, you snatch it and throw it. And he, like, his eyes shoot up. He's like, no, and the hand catches it, and it's invisible, I think. So we don't even see it. You just see it halt, and it drifts back over to Davos.
He doesn't need the fucking rocks to cast his spells. That's this. There's nothing. That's just the rocks.
You've seen what inspiration can do in battle, and if he thinks that it will give him an edge, then most likely it actually will.
God damn! Take another point of inspiration. That was beautiful.
Wells.
All right. Well, immediately he turns to Bergen and to Davos. It's like, well, teach me something else. What can I learn? Teach me something.
Man, do I teach him the typical vicious mockery, or I feel
Oh,
like
please don't. No one's will be safe.
maybe message. I don't. I'm assuming it has to be a cantrip.
You don't know. Could be. I would say trying anything over level 1 would be ridiculous, but cantrips and level 1s would probably be okay.
You could teach him bless. You could teach him.
I don't.
What's your go-to spell? What's your go-to thing in a battle? What's the first thing that comes to mind?
Someone teach him shields. So when he starts being dumb, he's getting himself into dangers.
First of all,
That,
rude. I'm right
that
here.
Shield of
Second,
Faith,
Shield
sleep.
of Faith. Ooh,
Sleep is
that could be cool.
gotten me out of plenty of situations.
How do you do it?
You know, just kind of like imagine the songs that your mom. Oh wait.
This encounter is everything I wanted and more. Please go.
You know, like a lullaby. Kind of like imagine that. Like
Okay.
I use my lute as the music, but I've heard people can hum. You know, I don't know if you can sing.
I don't know either. Let's find out together, shall we?
The holy man's over there's, I think, mumble somethings. He writes.
Yeah, he it's not fantastic, you know. He's obviously not a bard or trained or anything, but he has a decent voice, you know. It gets through. He sings a little ditty and something you heard in the bar when you played. You know, cute
Yeah,
shit.
that could work. And you
And,
just hold a C chord and then a G chord like this, you know, for the somatic.
That's your somatic components. I love it. he tries to mimic it. Where did my 20s go?
When he tries to cast it, Gulbrand will step up and like open hand try to like slap him in the ribs. Like he's not trying to hit him hard or nothing, but like he's just gonna.
285? Or excuse me, Gideon?
Yeah. To see if
You're
his
such a
AC,
dick.
to see if his AC went up. Just pop.
I mean, he's wearing
this is for
chainmail.
sleep.
Roll to hit. Unarmed
This is
strike. Roll to
just for
hit.
sleep.
You can choose to give yourself disadvantage if you want to take it light.
I will do so.
Oh, nope. You knock him on his ass, knock the wind out of him.
No.
It's like, Gulbrand, you're a dick. Like, scrambles to his feet. He's like, I just wanted to learn. Fine, I'll practice the G string or whatever it was.
Those. Comes Mexers.
What do you,
I was trying to test to seize. It makes them harder to hit. It's
what makes him harder to hit?
the things you were trying to deduce. It's worth
The
it.
sleep?
I'm teaching him sleep.
I thought you were teaching him shield.
Devin, you bastard.
Rip.
I was saying
Gulbrand
Bergen.
completely checked out of like 5 minutes of conversation.
I was saying Bergen could teach him that one. Maybe.
Rip me.
Teach him Shield of Faith.
Yeah.
He practices the sleep thing a couple times. Doesn't pick it up right away, but you all feel a little drowsy watching him. You know, after about 30 minutes. Bergen.
Try on
what-
small woodland creatures. This
Okay.
isn't.
Yeah.
This isn't a spell for giants. Trust me.
Okay, I'll remember that. And he goes off serious. and
Oh,
no, he does ask you before he goes, Bergen. So you try to teach me something. What do you do? What's something you could do? Spencer? Spencer, are you dead?
Oh, sorry, guys. Oh, mute.
No, you good. What does Bergen try to teach 285 from magic?
I was thinking. You say it's got to be a cantrip, right?
A cantrip or a first level spell, I
Or
would say, are going to
first
be your best bets.
level. Mm, try
The suspense is killing me.
word of radiance.
Word of Radiance. Let me look at something real quick. Is that a cantrip or a first level?
It's a cantrip.
10-4. How do you go about doing the spell? Like, what does Bergen do to make this happen?
I show him like the ins and outs because I think you need a holy symbol for it. So I explain all that goodness to him, and I show him mine, and I give him some incense as well.
Oh, super cute. Okay. He give him like a word that you speak, because there's probably for Word of Radiance, there's probably a verbal component to it. You can say what English word it is, and then say, but it's in this language, Celestial, or you know, or it's in Elvish or whatever.
I guess guidance.
Guidance, guide thee. Okay, yeah. He takes it and he stands up really straight and tries to command it out, to usher it out like he's an announcer, but nothing quite happens. But he's excited. He's like, I don't know if the holy stuff is my stuff. You know, I've never talked to like a god, but well, the day that I got out of the wagon, I thought I used magic to get me out. I can't explain it, but I just felt that in that moment, if I were to do whatever it took to free myself and the rest of the people, that it would happen. And I don't know where it came from or if it's always been there, but I knew I could get out if I tried. And I did. And I ever since, I've been convinced that I've got something special, and now I can throw magic rocks, and I'm going to practice other things, and thank you guys. And you're like, gives each of you a hug before. Serious, Ember! Wandering off into the city.
I still feel bad for those pigeons either way.
We need to get your friends to makes our little birds the bigger birds.
You do. You visit Mezzo while Davos is visiting him, and he once again, you guys play a little tune, and Ember is once again restored to its more adolescent form. Gives you more hit points now.
No, Bergen has like a fucking tall, skinny chicken riding on his shoulder.
It's like a small hawk, like not quite a full like beard of prey, but like it's almost taller than you when it sits on your shoulder. Excellent. The next day, a familiar wagon arrives, as does a merchant that you've done business with before, as Clyde Swiftwhip comes in with a couple of carts in tow. You guys asked him to come back then. I'm just saying. You told him, hey, we live in Nightstone, come back. And I thought, all right, that's going to have to happen. So Clyde comes up. He sees you. He's like, holy shit. I didn't think that you guys would actually be doing shit like this. I mean, when you said you were lords, I thought some rinky-dink keep in the back of the woods. But you guys have been put on the map. I've heard about what you've done. Anywho, I've got some critters I think you might be interested in. And he shows you 6 creatures. He shows you a giant raven for 800 gold, a giant scorpion for 800 gold, a dire wolf for 800 gold. He also shows you, each of these are 1200, a griffin, a pegasus, and a fey stag. I'll say at some point during this, he'll see your octopus in the moat. And he goes, I'll buy that off you for 1,000 right now.
2,000 gold.
Yeah. And if you want something else, if this isn't what you're looking for, I could try to find something, but it might take me some time. Things like these don't pop up every day, but when you guys said you were lords, I figured I'd bring down some of the upper stock.
Gulbrand's curious, are you able to entraps it from out of theirs who takes it with you?
The octopus?
Yeah.
Well, I've transported aquatic beasts before. I have a method of making a containment for them, not minimizing it in any way. But he points back to the carts. Well, let me show you. I've got a couple of tricks. And he opens up one of the wagons. He opens up, and you see like through bars the dire wolf. He opens another, and you see the griffin. But the third wagon looks more simple. It's like a small shop, and inside it, you see just little figures, and he grabs one, and he holds it up, and it's a Pegasus. He says, given the right circumstances and materials, I can shrink them down to stuff like this. Makes them easy to transport, you understand? But I'd be lying if I said it wasn't incredibly expensive to do so. I try to avoid it when I can. But this is how I carry some of the more expensive ones.
Well, we kind of use that octopus to protect this city.
Yes, he's our friends.
Would you like another?
Like another octopus?
I could find you one.
Do you want me to ask him? Hers?
Yeah, you might want.
Gulbrand will remember that you did ask the creature what it craved or what it wanted, and it told you to hunt, to breed, to live.
I don't know
That's
if we
why
can
we find this
support.
octopus a girlfriend before her.
That's the thing that we can't have our octopi
God.
reproducing in the moat. I don't know that it's not connected to the ocean, right? Like,
I mean, no, they can't get out. They can't swim to the ocean from where you are. They can't hold their breath long enough to do so.
I don't think we need another ones. What do you guys think, though? I'm almost positive we can afford to get everyone a mount. We don't have to, but
and you also don't have to get something here. If you're like, oh well, I want this, or I want a hippogriff instead of a griffin, or I want a wyvern, or I want a
Gulbrand's
anything.
Gulbrand's all about that giant raven. Is it big enough to carry him? Does it look like it would be?
Yeah, it's a large creature.
Jeez. I don't
Yeah,
know enough
biggest
of the lore
raven.
to say what I want.
And if you want, we can drop this in chat, and you guys can decide through the week too on this. This doesn't have to be a right here, right now. Adopting a pet's a very important decision that you should consider very thoroughly before making any rash decisions.
I just throw ours in the water.
So, just
You-
out of curiosity, how many of the shinies would you give us for our rocks eggs?
A rock egg? 10,000. I mean, rocks are incredibly rare. Like, you get one of them as an egg, do you understand? You can raise it like that. If I catch a wild rock, yeah, fucking right. But if I catch one and bring it to somebody, there's nothing they can do to make it listen to them. But if you get an egg, that's nearly priceless, mate. Wow, you got one you're looking to move.
Nope.
If a rock's
Deception
egg,
check?
if a
Deception check?
and he said no.
Alright.
I mean,
Am I
technically-
wearing my fancy clothes yet?
Not yet. Okay.
It was
Yeah.
just a hypothetical.
Yeah.
we had-
You
we
technically
had-
don't have it, which is true, but the way you said it was like, hey, how much would you get for this very expensive, very rare thing? That's oddly specific.
We heard there was one. That was all. It was a hypothetical.
If we happens to find this hypothetical eggs, would you agree to stay here to raise it?
He goes, I don't know about all that, man. I'm not really much for, raising is one thing.
What's
But raising a griffin or a wolf is one thing, but a fucking rock, man.
What's his
You're
name
talking
again?
about Clyde
Clyde.
Swiftwhip.
Clyde Rock Keepers.
He goes, that does have a fucking nice ring to it. I'll tell you what, mate. I'll think on it for the night. If you don't mind, I'll stay at your tavern and I'll mull it over. See if I like the place.
If you're lucky, the Fae Fighters will play tonight. I've been told they are they rocks ons dudes or whatever the fuck that means.
Beautiful.
They're pretty good.
The next day, Lucius of the Order of the Aster approaches you, Davos, and he tells you, I've been thinking, it isn't, now that you are chosen by Lathandar, a symbol to our community, the temple, right now it is currently devoted to Lathandar, but also to the goddess Maleki. Would like to talk to you about making it a monotheistic temple, solely to Lathandar.
How many worshippers of Maleki are there in Nightstone?
A few. Not as many as Lathandar, particularly since your arrival and your subsequent saving of nearby towns. But no, she's a goddess of the wilds, so like Thara of the Trents, the half elf you met at the Citadel, I forget what it was called. She worships that goddess. A few other members of the town do. I would say right now your population's probably about 100. Looking at maybe a dozen.
I guess my concern would be upsetting them by not having a place to worship their god.
Well, we could move her effigy somewhere else. I'm not suggesting to destroy it, but I don't know, if we could build something in the forest. Goddess of nature, maybe they'll like that.
Sure, I guess maybe take it to a vote of the people and where they would want it. I would like them to have a place to worship. And then
Surely you would value the word of your god more than Maleki, though.
personally, yes.
Would you not
But-
want these people to be exposed to the joys of the Morning Lord? It's difficult to do when he's overshadowed within his own temple.
Put it to the vote. You were right.
No,
I mean,
Davos,
like,
you
I'm
would
all for it.
understand gods are real. You can offend
Right.
this god.
Right. So I'd rather not offend.
Devin literally
Anyway.
eating popcorn. All right. He's
I mean, I'm all for, like, yes, having one temple for Lathandar, but, like I said, I'm not trying to anger the people.
he seems short. Curt. Goes, very well then, my lord. I suppose you do know best. And he turns and exits the keep. Put to vote. Not what I expected. I like it. Diplomacy in action.
Well, as far as like where to move the statue, like
Yeah.
whether it still be within the city walls or if they would like it out in the forest or whatever, like I still want them to have a place of worship, but like I'm all for making that just Lathander's as well.
Okay. The next day, the Blue Bear Uthgard arrive. Chief Hydia, Kodiak, Elders Lothar, Griselda, and Chaska make their way to the city gate as the rest of the tribe begins to set up an encampment outside in the fields, roughly 100 or so feet from the actual gate. Gulbrand, do you greet them in any particular fashion, or
No, I feel
want
like
to show them the town?
he would probably greet them like right on the other side of the drawbridge. And he would greet them in traditional Uthgar fashion, and he'd tell them, it's little odds being surrounded by the walls, and it's about to get worse because now they're made of fucking stones. That's the new ones. But now
Kodiak
that you are all
looks sour.
here, I do not plans to stay here as often. It'll be nice not to sleep with walls around me. It's unsettling. But he will take them through and give him his rundown of what each thing is. He knows mostly what everything is, but he phrases it as like the holy man's temples, the place where the bards likes to get together is in place, and the alcohols is. The horses are theirs, and he goes through and
The apothecaries, that's where they buy things with shinies, and yeah, I like it. Hydia is intrigued. It is nice, but I must admit I prefer life in the camp. Griselda is fascinated by Ember. She sees the bird on your flag as well as Ember himself perched in front of the keep, and she's like, "Oh, now there's a fine beast. You reckon I could, just for old time's sake,
knows. Do you have any ideas what this is?
You never have let me have funds," and grumbles about. Gideon takes an interest in your people and is kind of like, "Oh, you're not just a freak. I thought, okay, there's more of you. Okay, cool.
Yes, there are many's of me's.
Like how many's?
Wells, this is my tribes. They are around 30s, and then there are many other tribes. This could be that or more, so several hundreds, if I had to guess.
Cool. Chaska gives a giggle and he's like, "Hey, he's a good kid. He has spunks." Kodiak is sour the entire way through. He is, sneering and while not overtly saying anything offensive, when you do draw to the end and exit back out the gate, he turns to you and he says that walls make people weak, lazy, oblivious to the worlds around them, and naive to its threats. To plant the tribe is to kill the tribe. Hydia sort of shoulder checks him. "You are no better. You wear that breastplate and use that sword, but it is not something you made. You trust the outsiders rather than your own craft." Kodiak, "I will do what it takes for the tribes to survive." And he points to the axe on your back. "And do you think he made that?" Hydia
This was given to me by forces you could not understand. It is apparent to me that you could not fill the roles that were left to use, and the tribe has suffered because of these things. I do not intend to plant the tribes for long, but it is necessary as perhaps they stay here for some times, in order to both regain strength and so that I can keep an eye on them. There's quite a few things going on that has nothing to do with us that must be sorted out first.
Kodiak does not back down, and he, "Gulbrand, you swore to me a blood testing. I am here. Do not delay me further. My victory, and I will take my people from this place." your victory, and I will stay. If you let me live. I haven't quite made up my minds either.
Sorry, I have to hit the long rest button real quick because that's been a minute.
Patronus and wounds.
What
Is
is
this
it?
all in Balti?
I would say most of it's in common for the sake of the party. Does Davos react in any particular way?
Does Kodiak seem to be fully rested?
Yeah.
We're all fully rested.
I mean, they walked, but they didn't fight along the way per se. He's not like suffering from exhaustion or anything. But
I would just say perhaps we would do this not in the middle of the day or in the town center. If that
Well,
wasn't the plan.
I think Joey said we were walking back towards the tribe at this time.
you had just walked out of the gate when he challenged you. But if you say that, he goes, "No, a blood testing is done before the tribe, both ours and your new tribe."
I mean,
All right, sounds like a party.
yeah.
I guess
Strike up the band.
I would maybe it wouldn't be me, but try to spin it like a sporting event. Like, hey, come down, see
Gulbrand compete with one of his
two
warriors.
Goliaths fight.
Yeah.
Not like a boxing match, sporting event,
You-
but more like, hey,
You can tell your peoples what you will, but it may be more gruesome than they have signed up for.
He might lost lives. I might lost lives, but
no, right.
Thank you for that.
I just don't know if I should impose on your tribe's traditions.
Quit appropriating their culture, Davos.
No, what
Come
I
on,
mean
guys,
is
it's
like,
Coachella. It's like a boxing event. It's not to the death. It's fine.
if it's not gonna dishonor them by demanding that they don't kill each other, like,
Preposterous.
but you know, like knife to the throat, like clearly they would have died, but just pull them back last minute.
We will see how it goes.
just he will tell Kodiak. He says, "I just want you to know that I don't give the cubs shits about your petty grievances that you have over these blood testings. I came to the tribes in the times of weakness and led them out into a place of strength, and you stills will not fall behind and follows. This is your own follies.
You
I have
abandoned
killed
us.
more Uthgarth than you have been alive, than summers you have seen. It will not bother me to add one more to the pile behind me." And he'll... Because he can't, I don't know. Devin's a little scared, but Gulbrand knows he can't turn it down. Like, he can't turn it down anymore, like...
Kodiak like swells up. You abandon your tribes. Left us without Starkeeper, a core member of our parties. To do so is to leave us blind. And while I think you weak, I will not hesitate to prove it. He spits on the ground and tells you, "Dusk," and wanders off. You can choose where this fight
If
happens.
Hydia is around, after that,
She
Gulbrand wants to
is-
go, "Can I just fucking kill him, please?"
She goes, "At this point, I would almost let you, but we are still few. He is competent to a degree. If nothing else, you must prove your superiorities. To kill him is your decision, but you must defeat him."
Yeah, Stones reminds me. Will you holy boys comes with me, just in case either one of us goes overboards and
Hell yeah.
I guess the
Cool.
ideas.
I mean,
You
it's
know,
gotta be in
obviously,
front of the
those.
tribe.
Obviously, I don't want you to interfere, but if I kills him or he kills me, it would be nice to know that that may not be the end.
We could subtly bless you
Bergen
from
already-
the bystands.
Bergen already
And-
said once. Yeah.
Yeah, Bergen already said it once. Okay, it's fucking fine.
We'll make sure neither one of you dies.
Gulbrand will prepare. I had several rests. I need to check my spells.
Where do you guys want to do this? And do you guys want to do anything special to set this up? Like, you just got a few hours. You could set up a pit inside the courtyard, outside the walls, in the grassy land inside the walls.
Does
You
it
can set it up on the roof of the keep. You can,
does it have to be in front of the commoners?
he sort of demands that your Gulbrand's tribe see it. The whole tribe doesn't have to be in attendance, but he expects people from Nightstone to be there.
But like tribe, could it just be this adventurers?
The
I
lords.
think he wants a little more. Well, he wouldn't accept just the elders from the tribe. I think you need a bit of a more bigger presence than that.
All right, screw it. Yeah, boxing match. I go to the
I was about to
tavern.
say,
Do we
Let's
make a
all
pit?
you tell the
Gulbrand's.
bards, and the bards spread it like wildfire.
Come witness the ferocity of the Goliaths in a 1v1. You know, rumble in the jungle. Like,
I like while this is getting set up, like Gulbrand's like getting ready and relearning spells. He's just over here like make sure you charge them a little bits to get sense. That's how you get all the coins, right? So that's how this works. All of you children wants all of the coins.
You're learning,
Always.
Gulbrand.
there's people putting side bets on behind the inn.
Yeah.
Davos putting.
Oh yeah. You also hear like Davos came in and gave this initial announcement that spread it throughout the town, and then the other bar just went through and they're all telling their own version of it. Orin's like, oh yeah, there's gonna be blood, there's gonna be gore, it's gonna be gruesome, and then like Medley's like, no, I think they're going to like arm wrestle. I don't really know what's going on, but I think it's going to be really fun. You should come see. So there's just a multitude of ideas of what's exactly happening.
Timpani on the timpanis. You know, doom,
Yeah.
doom, doom.
Yeah, Jesus. We'll say there's music set up. 285 is like he's set up like a high chair to where you can see over the crowd, and like there's a small wall that's been formed around you guys to where you can there's a clearly defined fighting area, and inside is Kodiak. He's wearing that splint mail that you've seen, not splint mail, excuse me. Let me make sure I tell you this correctly because Devin will know what it actually means. Spiked armor. And you see the longsword, the spear. He's flexing. He's stretching. He's ready.
I picture Gulbrand like he'll roll his neck and like swing his shoulders, but he doesn't have any elaborate like warm up ritual, and he'll go with his
pick up some dirt and like
can crush it. No, he moves his bloodweed pouch closer to where it's within reach, but he won't snort anything yet.
would freaking
Yeah, and he's gonna stroll up to him, but he's not gonna take his axe out. He's just gonna stroll up to him. And does Kodiak already have his weapons out?
He already has both weapons out.
And
Yeah. Sword in his right hand, spear in his left.
So then this is somewhere where are we in an arena? We didn't build an arena, right? This is just
not really an arena. There's about a 30-foot circle
where
that
Nightstone used to be. That's where we're fighting.
Dead center of the town. I like it.
Dead center of the town.
Gulbrand,
All
I
right.
can throw you up a little ring right here so you can see where the rumble in the jungle of downtown Nightstone is happening.
all right. Gulbrand will take his axe out.
You hear someone yell in the back, "Twist his dick!"
I watched the episode you said that the other day. Oh my god, give him the old dick twist.
The old dick twist.
Ooh, lordy. Yeah, it's pretty much the whole like center of the town square.
All right, no.
And, there's wagons and carts and a couple of tables that have been turned on their sides, but there's a rough wooden barrier that defines the fight rink.
And very reminiscently, you hear me yell out to Gulbrand, 50 gold if you take him down.
Helena will be like, "Are you going to announce him? Go."
Okay, sweet.
Like, be the guy. Come on.
You know, all right. Wasn't
The
preparing a
guy.
speech. Thank you for everyone gathering around. We have, Gulbrand.
In this corner. No, come on, give it to me.
Dragon
The fight
Slayer,
announcer.
like, the bloodweed abuser. A couple Snickers in the crowd. Gulbrand.
You hear, or you say the bloodweed user. You hear a voice from the crowd. Legalize it.
The fuck? Gulbrand's over like the fucks.
And I'll give
Gulbrand will wave
Kodiak-
his axe around a little bit. And
Yeah,
I'll
like,
give Kodiak a good intro too, not dismissive.
I saw him kill like one thing the entire time I was with him. He's a bear. He's a dick. He's Kodiak of the. Beautiful.
The current champion of the Uthgard.
of the first
Yeah, he is the current champion.
reigning champion.
Yeah.
Behind you, the bards are like playing boss music, like boom, boom, boom. Like it's getting intense. And roll for initiative.
I
Devin
was
Green.
about to say, when Davos says go, Gulbrand's gonna try to smack him with his axe. Not even the sharps,
With-
just
Now,
the flat of it. Gross.
when I was speaking, could I have said that gave Gulbrand bardic inspiration?
Ooh.
It's not very helpful, but I have inspiration, so I'm going to use it for that initiative roll.
I'm trying to think. Bardic Inspiration is not a spell; it's an ability. Yeah.
Yeah. It gives me a 1d6.
I will say that you can do it, but he's gonna have a check to see if he notices you do it. If you choose to.
And this would
Yes.
be against the rules of the blood battle.
Perhaps. Like you gather any outside interference is like
Then I won't do it then.
okay.
So I used the inspiration I had to reroll my initiative, and it's a 19
job.
instead. So
Gulbrand, you get first swing. What do you do?
yeah, so Gulbrand's just gonna take the axe out, and the first thing he's gonna do is, if he gets to make regular attacks, is he's gonna use the flat of the blade to just smack him up. Like,
Roll the hit.
oh, where'd it go? Ooh. Da 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 da. Oh, gross. Oh, better.
The second one hits. Roll some damage. 16, solid hit.
And then, I guess he will go ahead and rage. I guess that's the move there.
Okay.
That's why I wanted to go first.
On Kodiak's turn, he also rages. And he doesn't utilize the same type of bloodweed. Does he? Is that a tribe-wide thing? Is that a Starkeeper thing?
Smoking, the smoke, and that part of it
Smoking it
is
is
the
okay.
Starkeeper thing. But yeah, all the barbarians that rage. That's the
You see him,
primaries that rage.
he like dips his hand into this thick paint. And he smears it on his face. And as he does, you see the flecks of the bloodweed within it. And he takes a deep breath and like does a couple of strikes across his chest as he begins his rage. And then he's going to rush up on you, and he's going to go with 2 swings for the longsword. Oh no, let me roll that.
Don't roll that. They're all ones.
Does the 13 hit?
The 13 does not hit.
So take 11 damage from the 20.
You mean
And your
5
move.
damage.
You're right, yes.
My move.
Mhm.
He's not gonna bother to light up. He's already raging. He's gonna take his next 2 attacks, because that's just what he do.
Get him. Both hit. Roll.
So that's 16 damage
7?
and 15 damage.
Oh, thank you.
Oh well.
16 half
yeah,
to 8,
yeah.
15 half to 7 for 15 total.
Bonus action, can't cast any spells because I'm raging. Nope. Afraid not. Sorry.
Okay. Back to his turn, and he's gonna go with 2 swings of the longsword. Oh, here we go.
I saw that. That's funny. Wow. Again.
Is that another 22 and 13? That's funny. And then he's gonna go with his swing with the spear. Okay. So take the 7, and then he's gonna use his action surge to do that whole thing again.
I was about to say, is he making 3 attacks?
Yes, he's a 2-weapon fighter.
I'm screwed.
Womp.
Fuck him.
So take the 5 from the 11. Oh. Crit 2? That sucks. And then take, we'll say 5 more from that hit.
Alright.
I can't play it
And then-
loud enough for y'all to hear and me not wake up the fam.
No, I feel that though. All right. Gulbrand, what you do?
He's gonna do what he do. He's gonna keep going because he feels like he's winning this altercation.
Both of those hit. Roll both damages.
11, 10.
11 10's 21 half to 10.
How does he look?
He's about bloodied. He's looking pretty rough. You've definitely gotten the upper hand on him.
For now.
For now.
I'm scared.
We'll see.
I think if this
He is-
Gulbrand's quit using the flat of his axe and he's just started like hip checking
Actually
him.
targeted
Yeah,
him.
he's hip checking him with the axe. He's getting him places where like he can chip him with it without taking limbs off. Like,
Hmm.
He's trying to give the impression he's toying with him.
I see. Okay. You watch as he takes a deep breath in and is healed with his action surge.
Mm-hmm.
As he uses his action to go for 2 more swings. And 3 damage. Damn, underwhelming. That's okay. I should start rolling IRL. That's more fun that way. All right, Devin, what you got?
Gulbrand's gonna keep going. He yes.
Oh,
As long as
again
he's
with a nat
rolling,
20.
yeah, as long as he's rolling well. So that's 15 total, and then this is the crit, which is gonna get another 2 added to that.
15 plus 16 is 31 halved to 15.
He just this like the longer the fight goes on, the less Gulbrand is toying with him, and the more he's just taking big swings.
Getting into it, yeah. Kodiak falls back. He's got a clave missing from his shoulder. He's bleeding out. He's looking pretty furious. He goes in once again. 2 swings with the longsword. For a whopping 5 damage, and then with the spear, which is not hit, boom! Your move, Gulbrand. He's realizing that you're toying with him, and he's getting frustrated. He's getting annoyed.
Well, still can't cast spells, and don't want to hoof. There's the 13 damage.
Do me a favor, roll odd or even.
I don't know. I get to
13 half.
I get to pick odd or even, or do I need to roll? I just need to roll.
You pick, and I will roll. I'm sorry. Or no, I'm sorry. You roll, and then the odd or even is decided.
Is the deciding factor. I can't get my thing to roll. There we go.
Even. You don't. You go in with a swing with the axe, and you miscalculate a bit. He dips under, and you almost like catch your foot like as you complete your swing, but you manage just to divert it enough to avoid it. Bonus action?
Afraid not.
Gotcha. He's gonna go in. Gonna go in with the sword. Use my 2 die. A 19 and an 18. Already doing better, which is a D8 plus 4. So Devin, Gulbrand takes 6, 5, 9, 10, 19 halved to 10 damage.
Yuck.
Yuck. He also goes in with a spear. A 7 plus 7 is 14. Does that hit you?
14 meets.
14 meets. This is going to do a d6 plus 4. 9 halved to 4 damage, good sir.
Okay.
And your move. Kodiak comes in and again, stab, spear, and just like is going for blood.
Is he starting to look rough?
He's pretty rough. He's not critical, but he's rough.
Gulbrand doesn't want to hack limbs, but he wants to keep going.
Roll damage.
Bigger gashes this time. That's 10 damage and then 16 damage.
26 half to 13. I
feel like at this point it's just devolved. They're just swinging away at each other.
Yeah.
Like.
A 13 doesn't hit, but a 25 does. Oh, that's an 8 plus 4. So 12 half to 6. And then again with the spear. That hits for 7 halves to 3 damage.
Okay.
And you watch as his swings are getting a little more sluggish. He goes in for the slash and stab, but you can tell he's kind of staggering a bit. He's rushing forward, but he's not in full control.
Like that. Gulbrand finally bloodied. It's gonna take both of his swings. And if this doesn't get him most of the way there, he might do that's 11 damage. He might
11 halved.
Yeah.
5. He is within critical territory. He's like one of his eyes is bloodied and swollen. He's got cuts all along his arms, his legs, his side. He's looking really rough. He's gonna take a deep breath. I don't think he can do his Yeah, he used both his action surge and his second wind. Oh! I forgot of a thing he has. Actually, Devin, he's not going to take that damage. He's going to use his Stone's Endurance.
Okay.
Because Goliath, fuck you.
You get
You're going to do the same thing, but... looking a little restored after your last blow sort of deflected off a bit more than you would like, he goes in with 2 more swings of the longsword. One of those hits for 14 does 4 damage, and then the spear, 15 for 3 damage.
Interesting. He doesn't have anything else?
Nope, that's both swings and the spear.
Well, here it goes. Oof.
One more hit. Roll it.
16 damage.
14! 16 half to 8.
Right. Yeah.
He's not quite yet back in that, oh, I'm sorry, that's the wrong number. 8 damage. He's not quite in that critical territory again, but he's looking rough. He's going with 2 more swings of the longsword. Both of those hits. Longsword comes up for 12 plus 7 is 19, halved to 10 damage to Gulbrand.
Oh, we'll go ahead and Stone Endurance that. Ooh, no damage to Gold.
Yeah! Solid. That's a great time to use that, too. He gets in what he thinks are 2 really good hits, but as he goes to slide across your stomach, it's just, like, petrified and just steers off. He goes with the spear to your neck. That's a 13, which doesn't hit, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Your move.
I mean...
Whoa.
Yeah, that's what I've got to decide if he's... I mean... He doesn't want to kill him, but he's going hard.
8 plus 5 is 23.
Plus 4 total.
Half plus 4.
Yeah, because of rage.
You go in and you catch him in the hip again, you pull out, and you go and you try to, like, smash into his shoulder, and he goes down. There's, like, not even that second of, like, trying to get up. You have knocked him plumb the fuck out. And he is just bleeding on the floor. And the crowd, the tone has shifted tremendously. What was once sort of jovial, like, oh yeah, they're going to fight, this is going to be cool, you know, the Lords are really strong, we're going to see what they can do. And people have been cheering for you. But when they see him drop, there's, like, everything goes silent for a second.
Gulbrand will turn and spit. He's gonna ignore them because this isn't about them. He wants to reach down and pick.
Kodiak coughs as he fails his first save.
Well, he wants to reach down and pick Kodiak up and cast Cure Wounds, because you know that's a spell that druids know. But he wants to like pick him up while he's casting it.
Yeah. Get him by the collar of that breastplate he's wearing.
Yeah, and like you know, hit him with the Cure Wounds so that he's not dying.
Can you backhand him when you do it? Just no.
Well,
you pick him up and he sputters blood a bit, and his head kind of lulls a bit before he steadies himself, and he looks at you, and you see him ashamed. You see him humiliated.
Gulbrand will he'll tell him, he says, "I warned you. I've done this for much longer than you used to be in the rounds." And he'll light up. He'll do the constellation's no longer an archer; it's a dragon. You guys haven't seen this one. I won't explain what it does because it doesn't matter. But he'll turn himself real bright like that. And he'll look past. He'll pretend like he's looking through Kodiak, like he's trying to pretend he's having a vision. And
you guys watch as Gulbrand, like, you've seen him wreathed in this starlight. You've seen the Orion's belt, the 3 stars along his hip, the one at each of his joints, but this is much different. Stars appear around him, 2 above his head, 2 over his shoulders, 2 below. And you see this sort of lightly ethereal glow form these wings, these horns, and his tattoos are glowing. It's incredibly intense and intimidating. Devin?
And after a brief span of pretending to see a vision, more or less, he'll look back at Kodak. He'll say, he says, "And I have scenes. You will attempt to try me with Moors who are loyal to you, and they will all die bound by my powers. I wonders if I should kill you now to spare the rest." He'll reach with his hand that's not holding Kodiak up and like grab him around the throat.
Hydia is suddenly at your side and pulls your arm down. And she, in common, Gulbrand is victorious, and chivalrously has picked up his opponent. You have been battle bonded. I refuse, as chieftain.
Bullshit.
I deny you, as chieftain. I deny you the kill. And she stares you down, and you can. It's this look of. Well, make an insight check for me, actually.
I'm not sure Gulbrand cares.
If Gulbrand doesn't have anything in specific, I'll just come in and grab his other arm and like raise his hand, you know, like Victor,
Winner,
like,
chicken dinner.
kinda, like release all the tension, get the crowd back, you know, not shit in their pants.
Okay.
Right before that, there's this pause where it's like really tense, and you watch as Gulbrand and Hydia just sort of stare each other down. And Gulbrand, she's not doing this out of fondness. She's not doing this out of wanting him to be there. But the look she's giving you is that the tribe needs him. And more like him.
I like to think Gulbrand's like hefting the axe in the hand that's not holding Kodiak before Davos comes over and raises that hand that has the axe in it, does the thing that Davos does. And Gulbrand's going to let it slide when he gets whisked away like that, but he was about to do it. He's going to fuck it.
I thought so. I was wondering if you would. The crowd again. Once Davos runs up there and announces the victor, like that breath that they've been holding just all releases as an uproar. There's applause. There's cheers. There's people like, "Fuck! Here's your gold!" And there's the you see.
And then you hear the crowd, dragon.
The dragon. I love it.
All right, for
new name.
Oh well, I was gonna say for shits and giggles. It's very funny. Gulbrand wants to take this moment of all moments to take out. He had one of the dragon fangs, as we all did or whatever, and he had taken a leather cord and wrapped it around the leather cord and made a necklace out of it. And he wants to give it to Hydia when the dragon chant starts. He's like, "I made this for you, but I keep forgetting things because."
And it's an impressive fang. It's about 2 or 3 inches, about the size of my pinky. I mean, it's quite large.
That's impressive, bro. Come on.
For a tooth. I mean, yours are centimeters. Come on. It's an impressive sized tooth, and she's a little taken aback. And Hydia has been your wife through both your first claw and your Starkeeper legacy. I wanted to say this is the first time she's ever seen the dragon constellation. I feel like it's not something that Gulbrand does often.
I mean, it would have been when he was mostly Starkeeper. He would have used it a good bit. It helps keep concentration.
Oh, I see. Well, it looks badass, if nothing else. Excellent. With that, my dudes, we're gonna go ahead and call tonight done. But that was fantastic. I will say one more thing: that Zork arrives, the Stone Giant, and goes to hide in the caves and makes his own little den. But you guys got through everything I thought you would, and if Tally were here, I would do one other thing, but it's gonna depend on if he comes next week or not. So we'll see about that.
Man, I hope he comes back. I miss him.
Yeah.
Same. If you guys have his personal deets, bombard that dude.
Harass that man to play some D&D.
Let that motherfucker know we miss him.
Same. Tell Stefan we miss him. I Snapchatted him the other day. He never Snapchatted me back, and I was like, that bitch.
I think I'm gonna message Josh and Stefan the next week. Like, hey, we're about to start Frost and Fire Giant. Pretty cool.
Stefan will probably be close to what is it called? Exams and finals.
Oh, gotcha. That motherfucker. Tell him to fail.
Yeah.
Say love you. But nonetheless, good night, my dudes. Had a blast. Be good. Love you guys. And is it Friday yet?
Later, y'all.